Welcome to Late Night Chat with JT and Niko, episode 47.
Alright.
No?
Yeah.
Alright, I was gonna see you're shaking your head, like.
I always do it. Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year's, everyone. This is our year-end all media review episode today. So that,
our year-end review. It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
How time flies.
2019, bro. Fuck.
Fuck it.
I mean, yeah.
We don't need it. Come and gone. Another year. Another a year older. Fuck.
This is actually going to be our second one of these. Our fourth episode, I had to check the archives there, Jay. Our fourth episode within our first month of doing this show a year ago, we did a year-end review type episode as well.
I forgot all about
it. It was a little rough, to be honest. I didn't listen to it, but I just recall.
I forgot all about that, man.
So I hope this goes a little bit better than that one. I think you're a little bit more seasoned now. I think you'll be okay for this one now.
Hopefully.
You came a little bit more prepared, a little bit more used to the podcast.
Let's see how these year-end reviews work.
Right.
So, yeah. What's going on, buddy?
Not bad. How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Good.
So Happy New Year's, everybody. This episode will be airing for you guys. You will be watching this or hearing this on New Year's. Is when we'll be releasing it.
Because Niko's gonna be drunk.
A little peek behind the curtain. We are pre-recording this just prior to the new year.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone, please.
And this is going to be one of the only episodes that because it's a little bit different than normally, like our normal setup of kind of what we do every show. Just bringing different topics to the table. In this one, we're going to be particularly talking about movies, TV, music that we enjoyed this past year. I mean, these are a lot of things that we consume on a day-to-day basis that we talk about often on the show that we enjoy, obviously. So we figured what a good way to rein in the new year to kind of review some of the things that we enjoyed this past year because, I know that, you guys share a lot of the same interest that we do, hopefully, if you are a listener of this show, right? So
or a watcher.
Yeah.
Whatever you like to do.
Also, it's good because I think if you're looking for a movie that you may have missed this year or new music or show, then it's a good way of kind of talking about that stuff once again and kind of give out suggestions as well for people.
It's true. It really is because there's a lot of stuff that you don't get a chance to watch throughout the year, right? So
then normally if you pay attention to the websites around this time on the internet, a lot of people do these end of the year lists. Like people just love making lists like this, right?
Yeah, so weird.
So like they'll have like best books of the year, best like movies of the year, best fucking video games of the year. So like people normally will go and check out these lists.
Best porn scenes of the year. Have you ever had?
There's the porn awards,
see if there is
right?
Yeah, I know. But I'd love to see if there is one of those best year of things.
I forgot what they're called. Those porn awards. What are they called again? I know there's an actual award show. No, it's a real deal, and they give it out for like best scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, seriously, bro. It's like
That's
best gangbang of the year. They'll give out like awards like that.
Best gangbang of the year. Best bukkake of the year. Hey, how about that?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Well, we're off to a great start here.
Here we go. This is what happens at the end of the year, right? So.
But yeah, so this will be fun. So Jay and me, we basically we haven't talked about our picks prior to now, so it'll be a surprise for us as well as you guys what we're going to discuss here.
Yeah.
We basically said
Nico remembers everything, so we're all screwed.
Keep up, Jay.
You better have your flip. That's why I fucking notes out. Nico's got like one thing with nothing on it.
No, I flipped it on. It's on the other side.
Yeah, so I don't get to see it.
You don't get to see it.
I see my arms like this too now. Fuck this now.
So basically, we'll be talking about our top fives of. Whoa, hold on there.
Something happened there.
Yeah, the key to Mike. Still in?
Oh. There you go. Perfect time to cut up.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the fuck happened. It's not
okay.
this thing.
Keep rolling.
I'm trying to set it so that I don't hit it.
Yeah.
I want to rest my arm because I'm trying to rest my arm, but my fucking big ass foot. No.
Do you need more room for the table there? We can move it over a bit.
Yeah. It's just for some reason I'm just
good?
being clumsy today.
Okay.
Sorry guys.
All right.
I know.
There we go. Ready?
Yeah, let's do her.
So basically, we'll be talking about, we'll be giving a top 5 for the following categories: movie, TV, and music. So me and Jay kind of wrote down 5 things that have come out this past year. So I had to have come out this past year of 2019, the things that we'll be talking about today. And then by the end of it, if there's any honorable mentions, because for me in some of these categories, there was more than 5 things I enjoyed. I wanted to highlight the top 5 and then maybe mention a couple other things that were good but just didn't make the cut, right? So
yeah, and for me, there was sometimes barely 5 I could think of.
Right. Yes.
Certain things, you know what I mean? Just maybe 5.
Yeah.
So no honorable mentions for me, but Niko, like there's certain things that he likes to do more than I, or he gets the opportunity to
right.
do more than I do.
And we'll get into that, yeah.
And I get the opportunity to do more than he does, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with the end of the year, too, as we're speaking with that whole working and having that crazy schedule that I had,
yeah.
right? So, you know, I got my eyes open, don't I?
I think we're all a little tired by the end of the year here, the way it works with the holidays and everything like that. So
I'm gonna have to go to back as soon as I go back on the 1st. There, I'll have to go.
Yeah, Jay's been working nights at the time of this recording, so yeah. By the time the New Year's hits, you'll be transitioning back, thankfully. So that his busy season of the year will be.
Yeah. So it's cutting into my TV time.
It's okay, though. I mean, this is actually the first time we've seen each other week to week. This is going to be fun right now, so I'm really looking forward. I'm looking forward to hearing what your top 5 are as well. Now, did you rank any of yours in order? I tried to do that this year. Normally, I said, you know what, in no specific order. And if you don't have an order for it, that's fine.
Right. You know, I was guessing in my head. I have too many TV shows that I watch to rank anything, I think, specifically in order. I think there might be 1 or 2 that I might be able to place up there at the top.
Yeah, which is fine.
Albums. I could probably.
But again, on any given day, it can change up. You know what I mean? So, like, at this specific moment in time, I tried to rank them. Also, by the way, guys, just because we didn't mention something doesn't mean that it's just because we didn't listen to it, we didn't watch it. It doesn't mean we've watched all the fucking movies that came out this year. We might be not talking about things.
Something that you watched and we didn't.
Yeah, and you'll be like, what the fuck? How come they didn't say this was the best movie?
Right,
yeah.
But we're
busy.
we can counteract each other on the stuff that we've watched so that it covers quite a lot of ground too, right? And so hopefully, music-wise, I mean, me and Niko tend to follow music a little bit more.
I was about to say, we're pretty specific for the music.
Right? We're pretty on the ball with that. We might still not, you see, this is another thing. We might still forget stuff that we watched in the beginning. That we listened to in the beginning of the year.
That's true.
Because that's another one that, you know, there's so much music that comes out during the year.
Yeah.
There's stuff that maybe we don't even get around to. I know we don't get around to.
No, for sure. See, that's the thing. Even when I was looking up what came out this year, there was things that I saw on the list. I'm like, damn, man, I need to go back and listen to that. Like, I never had a chance. Or I'm like, I would probably really enjoy that. That could have been on the list, right? So, just and also if you guys listen to this and you want to give us your top 5, please join the conversation. That's why we do this, right? So we'd love to hear your top 5s for these things, or give us suggestions of stuff, right?
It'd be really interesting, and you know, I'd like to hear some of your top 5s out there. I know there's a lot of people listening out there, at least that would like to think that their opinions are better than others, and
all right, it's a new year, bro. You got to give this one up.
No, I'm being serious, man. You fucker.
I thought you were talking about something specifically there.
No. But
have you noticed the comments have stopped rolling in now ever since these comments were said on our first? So maybe we did something wrong. Anyways, not to get into that.
No, but yeah, so
some of you guys are very opinionated, for sure.
I mean, they might watch different things than us and listen to. Obviously, listen to different music than us.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's a lot of hillbillies out there that like to watch different things than us.
Yes.
And listen to different music than us.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, Jay's being very specific to specific people here now. These are comments directed at very specific people. Everybody, sorry about that.
That's what happens when you start putting notes.
That's true.
Comments in the notes section.
All right, so let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. I had to throw.
You having a good time?
Yeah, I had to throw some interesting.
Okay.
I'm starting to sweat now.
I'm
sorry, Aunt Jane.
All right, let's get into it. Top 5 movies. All right.
Niko's gonna love this one. Niko's watched this is where I was saying that we
want to
get
start?
a chance. Yeah, no, I just want to say something before you start talking.
Oh yes, of course.
Because this is where I'm going to say we probably, he gets a better opportunity, obviously, to go out and watch them, even at the movie theaters. In a sense, because he has somebody to go to. I don't want to be that perv that goes to the movie theaters by myself and watches movies. But yeah, no, I get to watch them when I get a chance at home. So hopefully, we can fight back and forth here on different movies. But yeah, no, there is some movies that I know that we've watched and we've liked together. So hopefully, I can list some of those. I at least can list mine.
Right.
I would think that I watched.
Right.
Of what I watched this year.
Yeah, I was about to say I do make it out to the theater once in a while. Like, we do take the opportunity to make that a thing, dinner and a movie type fucking situation, because, we're all...
It's called date night.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like, no, but what I'm trying to say is, like...
That's why that's why I get in trouble all the time.
Right. Like, even people that lead busy lives like we do, though, it's a good opportunity to kind of sit back and do something for a couple hours, right? You know what I mean? So that's why we do take the opportunity to go to the theaters, maybe at least once a month or once every other month, right? So there was a few movies I've seen in theaters, as well as ones on TV that I'll be talking about that came out this past year. So
yeah, I can learn a few things.
All right, you want me to start us off then?
Or? Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, so these are in order. I tried to do in order. So for number 5, I'm gonna go El Camino. Okay, that was on my list. El Camino. Now, I put this. Yeah, I put this. So that was on Netflix. This wasn't in theaters. Of course, El Camino. We did have an episode where we talked. Actually, did it premiere? I think they did have an airing at they had I think one night type show.
It was. I think it was released. No, I think it was released in theaters. Wasn't it released in theaters prior?
They had a showing, I think, of it.
Only one?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think it was ever in theaters for a couple weeks.
I thought it was released for the week in theaters.
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Maybe nobody went because they knew they had Netflix at home. Right. What the fuck's the
I thought
point?
they just did one of those things where they aired the movie like at a theater for the actors kind of thing, but then I thought after that it just was on Netflix. I thought maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
I had an argument with Leslie about this and hopefully
about El Camino.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know.
No, sorry, not El Camino.
Irishman. Yeah, that's what I mean. No.
That's what you're talking about. Sorry, you lost me there for a second. My fault, dude. No, because we're talking about two movies that were both on the same.
You're talking about another movie in your head. I'm talking about.
No, it's just.
All right, El Camino.
Yeah, sorry.
This movie aired on Netflix. It's number 5 for me because, let's be honest, it was an enjoyable film. It was a good film. We talked about it. There's an episode, a few episodes back, actually, Leslie did come on and talk about the movie with us. Yeah. It was that actor's last movie. We talked about Robert Forster, right?
Yeah, Forster's last movie.
Yeah. Great performance by him. Probably my favorite performance actually out of the whole movie, even more so than Jesse. I forget the actor's name here. Aaron Paul's performance in this. But listen, it was a good movie, but I'm putting it at number 5 because most of my interest in this film was because of how big of a Breaking Bad fan I was, and because I wanted to see a continuation of this character in that world and see how his story continued.
Exactly.
It's not a bad film whatsoever, but I can easily admit that I'm biased because of the fact that it was a tie-in to Breaking Bad. So, because there's other movies, even my honorable mentions, that may have been better films than El Camino, but since it's my top 5, I really enjoyed watching a movie based in that world. So I'm gonna put it in as number 5. Great little story about the continuation of him on the road after we left Jesse, Aaron Paul's character from Breaking Bad. I thought it was well done, well written. It would give you everything you kind of wanted and needed, and it didn't shit the bed. I think for them to continue and revisit this character after such a big show like that ended, it's risky, right? They could have did this and it could have been shitty.
Yeah.
But with the same people involved, Vince Gilligan, the writer of Breaking Bad, who directed some of the episodes, and with all the other talented people he had around him involved in this, they did it right. They did a good job. They just gave me just enough. It was a quick watch, you know what I mean? It wasn't too complicated. It kind of, it just gave you exactly what you needed to kind of just give you one last kind of little story of this character in that world, right?
Kind of where it led to, because you remember you just didn't know in that movie at all where where he actually in the TV series where he actually ended up after. You knew something happened, but you didn't know what was going on, right? You knew he was captured, you knew all that, but you didn't know what happened from that on that. So, yeah, it was good. I ranked it there too, up there at least with number 5 because there's.
Oh, nice. There you go. Off to a good start. You agree? Yeah.
Maybe not number 5. But we'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Because I might have a couple of them that I might think that might have reached up there for me. So.
But yeah, that's my first one is number 5, and like I said, it was a great film. But I just had to give it a spot, so that's why I give it number 5.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because of my bias of loving Breaking Bad. Otherwise. I have a movie I'll talk about when we get into the honorable mentions that could have easily slipped into that number 5 spot. But anyways, go on. That's my number 5.
Oh yeah, so I was thinking Midsommar. Midsommar might have been out there with my number 5. I think that was where I was going with that one.
Okay.
Because I like the storyline somewhat, but really, I don't think they got to the point. I don't think they did what they needed to do to explain so much of the storyline. It just kind of wrapped up near the end. I like the company that does it, and there's a few movies that I wanted to see from them this year that I didn't get a chance to see, like Hidden Gems and stuff like that with Adam Sandler.
That looks fucking good. I think that's just come out now, though.
Yeah, they produced it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That was one for the new year, and it's hard to find because
they're talking
I think it's a YouTube special, like you have to pay for it and all that, and it's through YouTube.
They're talking he might win an award for his for him in that film. That looks good. There's a lot of
people, right? Yeah. And I haven't had a chance to see it yet, and that's what's really because I loved Hereditary. I understood the storyline in Hereditary and all that, but that's a previous one from the same director, right?
Yeah.
I can't say. I think that would probably be where I would leave it, just because.
Okay.
Like I said, it was good up to a point. It's just I feel like they wasted a lot of my time with nothing.
You felt it was pointless in the end.
They started, yeah. They put it all together and like the whole storyline about bringing them into Sweden and doing with Switzerland and doing the whole ritual and all that. And at the end, it was almost like, for what? You didn't really get to see the whole reason. I understood why they did it, but you didn't get to. I mean, I think the director could have won it, especially this guy that does what's his name now, Eric. Starts with an A.
The director of this, Ari.
Ari,
yeah.
Ari's.
I forgot it. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I do. I had it on my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think he just he could have did something totally different with the end that would have made so much more sense. I think along the lines of the ending of the ritual there.
Ari Aster.
Yeah, I just don't think it. I think that's where the end of that, like the cult ritual, wasn't out.
I'd be interested to watch this director's cut. You remember the one I told you that's got the 20-something extra minutes? It's apparently better than the theatrical release, so maybe that'd be interesting to see somewhere down the line. We might have to talk about it.
It only has a 3-minute. I think it.
No, it adds that's just a piece.
Minutes?
That's just a piece. Apparently, like an extra 20 to 30 minutes more. The director's cut. Yeah.
On top of the 2 hours that you're sitting.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours that you're sitting. Well, 2:18, right? So 2.5 hours that you're sitting there watching a movie.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I like I said, I liked the whole beginning, and then it just lost me through the ritual. Right.
So at number 5, you're gonna put Midsommar.
I'm gonna put it at number 5. Maybe some of you guys out there understood that ritual. I mean, I like watching shows about cults and ritual stuff and stuff like that. And I just think they lost me with it. Maybe it's me, but yeah, that's what I felt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my number 4. I got to give it to Avengers Endgame for my number 4.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch that one. So yeah, I'd like to hear what you have.
This is my only superhero film in my top 5. I'll give you a little spoiler on that. The reason being, again, this is going to be a little bit of a biased answer, but because obviously I love the superhero films, but I don't even put them on the same level. Like, they're enjoyable films. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I go to see almost all of them, at least the Marvel ones, and I always have a good time watching them. I find though with superhero films there isn't a lot of rewatchability. I find to them. And that's why, like, when Scorsese and stuff made comments, which, again, it was, like, kind of like an old man get off my lawn comment of, like, you know, these aren't movies to him, and whatever the fuck he went on about, like, he doesn't understand, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're popcorn flicks, yeah. I got where he was coming from. I wasn't really that upset by the comments that because a man of his age would make about these films. I understand it, but at the same time...
He used it, didn't he?
What's that?
He was talking a lot about the
the stuff that they do. They de-aging. Marvel did it first. The de-aging thing. They used that in those movies.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but we're not going to get into all that about his comment. But I was just using it as an example to say.
Okay, yeah, how he doesn't like those types of movies.
Yeah, and I get it. And even me myself, I have so much fun with them. But a lot of the time there isn't a good rewatchability factor I find with those films. Whereas a Scorsese film like this, I gladly spend 3 hours rewatching these films, seeing these guys kind of chop it up together on screen. And that's not to say good people aren't involved in these Marvel movies. That's not true either. There's lots of great talent in them.
Yeah.
Anyways, for me, Avengers Endgame was the end of a fucking decade worth of movies that they were building up for. Like, and they paid off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, like... The continuity throughout all the films of the story from one film to the next, leading into this film. I mean, they just pulled it off so perfectly, and they stuck the landing. Like, I have no complaints from me as a fan of Marvel movies, of comics. For me, being there in the theater, seeing that all come together, all the characters, the story, like, leading into this after years and years of watching these films, it just paid off. It paid off for me, and I think that I haven't rewatched the film actually since, but I do want to watch it again. But being in the theater, nothing beat that, man. For those like about 3 hours that film was as well, the Marvel movie, like it was.
See, that's the reason why I didn't go to watch it, is because I need to watch 10 years of fucking Marvel movies.
Yeah. It pays off.
I mean, I've watched a lot of Marvel movies here and there, but I haven't had a chance to watch all of them like you.
Right.
To be honest with you.
And that's what I mean. Being a fan of them and watching all of them, and then watching this and watching them stick the landing and with the ending and basically rearranging things in the movies to go forward with these characters.
Yeah.
It just... They did it. They fucking did it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is an accomplishment in itself. And again... Yes, maybe there's better films out there, you know what I mean, than this. But for me, I had a hell of a lot of fun watching this, so I got to put it in my top 5. It deserves a spot in my top 5. And just for the accomplishment, again, of you know, sticking the landing on this story that they've been building for all these years with all these characters through all these movies and pulling it off. I loved it. I mean, I had a great time watching it, Avengers Endgame. And, probably my favorite superhero film of the year. And it comes in at number 4 on my list.
Number 4, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all right. I like I said, I would have liked to watch more of that, more of the Endgame there. Like, I would have liked to watch more of the other movies before I got to see the whole thing. And like, I can't get through that whole thing. But if I had a chance to, and hopefully over the next little while, maybe I'll have some time off, some stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can get a chance now that you threw it in your list there. I had a feeling you were gonna have it in your list. I honestly thought you would have had it a little higher there, to be honest with you, but you didn't.
No.
Which kind of surprised me, which is throwing me off, because I'd like to see how. I mean, I know you've watched a lot of movies, but I didn't think you watched something better than what you had.
Oh, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because listen, the Marvel movies aren't the be all end all for me liking films. Mm-hmm. Like, I like many directors' work. I like other genres, and like we talked about on this show before, I consume comics every single day of my life. So like, it's like, for me, going and watching a film of it, yes, it's fun. It's great seeing these characters on the screen, but I already have so much other of that influence in my life that I want to go out and enjoy other things too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the superhero films all the time, right? Like, I don't, and that's why I say to you, there's not much rewatchability in a lot of those films. I've rewatched all of them. Don't get me wrong. but I'd rather sit there and watch a fucking new film or something that's got, you know, other actors and themes
but you
in it.
remember once stuff starts popping up in the movie, you remember. You know.
Yeah, but when it comes out in the theater, I'm there like the first week. You know what I mean? Like I'm excited to watch the superhero films. But right, like, so like I know
a lot of people like that. Yeah, it's just the way it is. I mean, and they wouldn't be so popular if it wasn't true.
But the superhero films don't leave you wanting more or thinking about the movie after leaving. It's not one of those films that leaves a lasting impression to me. Like we've had talks about other films on this show.
Yeah, it just doesn't stick with you.
Yeah, like for me, I'm just like, wow, that was awesome. That was really cool. This was cool. That was cool. You know, I might talk about it a bit, but then it's back in my mind, right? Yeah. So you know, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not the same. And that's why I get what Scorsese's saying. It's not like cinema in that sense, but it doesn't make it not good. Like I have so much fun watching those films. Like don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But what I was, like I said, if I didn't know between the number 4 and number 5 for me was gonna probably be, it'll be El Camino. It's just something that like I was you were just saying, and I kind of said to you, I think you were saying that you hit it right on the nail when you said something along the lines of, it didn't leave you with a, I didn't leave me with the lasting impression. I would have liked to see more of everybody in that. There was still other characters that didn't get involved. I mean, you also had what's his face. You know, I thought it had to do with a lot with the Spanish. That whole Spanish part of it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But that never emerged anywhere, right?
No.
And what's his name? Mike. Right.
He was dead.
Yeah, by that time, but they didn't kind of finish that whole story.
No, because his story's been continuing somewhat in the Better Call Saul. If you notice, all the themes that are going on in Better Call Saul weren't really revisited in this.
No, but the problem is that we haven't got any Better Call Saul yet since. So we haven't seen what's been going on.
It's been taking a while for the last season to come back.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's coming back or they
said
it was.
I think this is the last season, though. I think that's why they're probably
3, right?
No, this will be the fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird for them to
fourth or fifth, actually.
It's because I would have thought it would have been weird for them to sign on for 4 seasons. Okay, maybe it's a little more, but yeah, I know. I've been waiting for that season to come out, but they haven't said when it's going to be released. It'll probably be released next year sometime.
Yeah, this year, 2020.
And it'll be you know, hopefully.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Maybe we'll get to figure out where Mike went and what happened in his life. We know obviously how he died now, but yeah. I'd like to see where that went, but they just didn't leave me with enough. They left me. I mean, there was a lot of dead scenes there too, where where there wasn't much going on.
It's a very quiet movie. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They visited a few people. They did a few revisits. It was nice to just see how Jesse kind of ended, right? Other than after once he went up there, what was the deal, right? So. That's where it kind of left me. There's a lot of the movies. Maybe like I said, once I got towards the end, it was kind of like dragging on to me, right? So I liked the characters that they did have in there. I especially liked what's his name there, Chuck. What the hell is the kid's name? The blonde kid. That's his name in.
Oh yeah, that was the Irishman too,
yeah.
I forgot his name, but I know you're talking about it. Yeah.
I want to say it's Jesse's buddy in there. What the hell was his name again? But no, I especially liked his part in it. He was great. That whole part there was good. And what's his name's appearance cameo for here in not cameo but Forrester's.
Todd was the guy's name. Yeah,
Todd
Robert Forrester. Yeah,
that was
the vacuum guy.
The vacuum. But no, Robert Forrester, honestly.
He stole the show, man.
Yeah, he stole it all, right?
Yeah.
You'd like to know, why, stuff happens to people and why we try to raise money. It's for people like that, So, but other than that, it was a great movie overall. Like I said, I'll leave it at number 4 for me.
Okay.
People are probably going to rate it a lot higher. People think it's a lot higher, but Like
I think we rated it pretty fairly, to be honest with you. I'm sure for a lot of people wouldn't even make it on their top 5, to be honest with you. I think it just kind of goes to show how big of fans we were of the original source material, right?
Yeah, we watched.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad film. It just didn't give you that much. You know what I mean? Like it just gave you just enough. Yeah. But like you said, I don't think it's mostly, that's why it kind of just made it into my top 5, right? So at least that's my opinion. But okay, so number 3 film for me that I watched this year, which I really, really need to rewatch again, because I guarantee you this has a possibility of going all the way down to my favorite movie of this year, but I need to rewatch it. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I loved the film. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And I think that's what's great about it, but I need to rewatch it again to really appreciate that. And I know it seems like this is the one Tarantino movie that people are very divided on, that are fans of his films.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like a hangout film. Like you sit there with 2.5 hours in this world with these characters, with these movie stars that you're very familiar with. It was a period piece of LA in the 60s during the Manson murder period. But it was unlike all of Quentin Tarantino's other films because it wasn't plot driven at all. There was barely any plot to it, and I think that was what the problem was to some. Like, there's some people that I've talked to, and like you just pointed out earlier about something, Midsommar, you said you kind of felt it was pointless. That's what people thought about this film, people that didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And whereas I didn't think that, leaving the film, it was a fun experience. I really enjoyed watching it. I just didn't expect it to be like that, so I think because I'm very analytical, especially of directors' works that I'm a fan of, like I'm sitting there watching the film, trying to piece it together, trying to understand it, trying to kind of get a deeper meaning to it. When I left the film, I kind of, my head was in a weird place after I finished watching it. I was trying to be like, what, I was like, what was the ultimate point of this film? Like, it didn't seem like there was one. And that's all it was. It was really just Quentin Tarantino. It was like the ultimate fucking jerk-off where he's just like, listen, I like all these things. I like this period in time. Like, he grew up around that time in LA, in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I like this period of time this is my opportunity to play around with some aspects of a time and place that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a love letter to a lot of things he likes. Like, movie stars and LA during that period of times, and they have like a scene with Sharon Tate going to the cinema to watch one of her films that she was in, and just the way it was directed and filmed, and like you could just tell, oh man, the foot fetish stuff, because Quentin Tarantino loves feet. It was in full force in this film. Like, you see a lot of feet kind of things going on in this one. I will say that. A lot of feet. A lot of foot fetish type stuff. And, but you could just tell that he had a lot of fun filming this movie. Like, it just was a good time. Bro, it was fucking hilarious, too.
He's killing me with a lot of feet.
There was. It's a well-known fact. He has a foot fetish, Quentin Tarantino. And if you watch some of his films, you'll see.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't realize.
If you watch this movie, bro, you'll see. You'll see. It's just one of those things I need to see it again, though, because I love the performances in it. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really well done, really well shot, directed, of course, Quentin Tarantino. Was there a point to it? Was there a plot to it? Not really, but was it a hell of a lot of fun to watch? Yeah, it sure was. It was probably Brad Pitt's best performance that I've seen in fucking forever. He was fantastic in this film. Leonardo DiCaprio, always great in my opinion. He was great in this too. You actually seen some range from him in this. This is, I think Leonardo DiCaprio is really smart about the roles he picks. Like, he's always in really cool movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he gets away with it. Like, at times you felt like you're just watching these guys being themselves on the screen. But in this, they did a really, really great job, right? And it kind of made you realize again, like, these guys are fucking movie stars, you know what I mean? Like, and it showed. And that's what they were in the movie. And, well, Brad Pitt was his stuntman, the movie star, right? And he was great in it. Anyways, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I hope you see it soon so we can talk about it again on the show. I need to rewatch it. I think it just came out on video. I would love to own it and rewatch that over the holidays. So
I just seen that they showed there was a commercial saying that it was going to be released shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So just before the holidays, I think, just in time.
I mean, again, I give it number 3 because I really enjoyed it, and in a year when Quentin Tarantino brings out a new movie, of course it's going to break my top 5. I really would have had to hate it to not have it in my top 5 because I'm just a big fan of his work. But I need to see it again. I really do. So I gave it a number 3.
Nice. No, I unfortunately didn't get to watch that. So we maybe if you do get it over the summer or something, or over the holidays. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe we'll sit down and watch it.
Sit down and watch it, and let me see what this is all about.
Yeah.
Because apparently everybody's been talking about how great of a movie it was and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're very divided though. I will say, a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a pretty cool one. I was trying to think of like something that I would put as a number 3. Maybe this one's not going to be just as a rated number 3, but it's going to be part of my list. The one that I got to watch was the movie. I finished watching the movie Mr. Rogers.
Oh, Once Upon a Time. What's it called? In My Neighborhood or something? Welcome to My Neighborhood. Yeah, the Tom Hanks one.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks.
Oh God.
And I actually liked the movie.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, I think he played the character really well, and it was really based on what was going on in the whole background of.
That's what I've heard. It's not about him. It's more about other people around him. Right.
You know, his effect on their life.
And A Beautiful like Day in the Neighborhood. Yeah, that's what it's called.
It's his effect in their life, and I'd like to watch it again just to see, because I tend to watch these things late at night, and I tend to I watch a lot of other things at the same time, so I tend to maybe not sit and retain the information as good as everybody else, but I thought Tom Hanks played a really good character. When he first walked in the room, I thought it was him, to be honest with you. I honestly thought it was Mr. Rogers from back in the day. But it was the guy had people, it was kind of like a sort of a little bit of a documentary in one part that they were just kind of explaining about him. But it was more about the directors and the people behind the scenes. Yeah, and I don't want to give, because it's fairly new too, so I don't want to give too much of it away, but if you guys can get out there to watch it, I think you'd like it. If somebody was in our generation that they grew up, I'm not sure of the other actors that were in there. I think he was one of the only big actors that was in there.
The one thing I heard someone's comment on the movie was that it solidified the fact that this guy was possibly the greatest human being that ever lived.
I was just
in terms of
he's
how
one of the nicest
yeah.
people that I've ever seen, and I don't think you get to see that as like that very much.
Like no one exists like that these days. Yeah,
everybody thrives to be that kind of person, but nobody is that person. Like you have to be born with it. I think, and it's just a gift that you're given. He just didn't care about anybody else. He just wanted everybody. It was all about being equal. And I mean, in a way, it could have started this whole craze with everybody being equal, and this whole, if you think about it, because it was around that time when stuff started changing.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the reason why it did change.
Yeah, I heard that there's a video where he gets up in front of Congress and spoke to them about how important it was to like children were and this kind of thing. Like I heard that he did something like that, and like just trying to explain to them like the way children think, and like the way what I mean.
Talked to, and
yeah. That's what it was.
Right? Like,
was that in the film? Because I've heard that he did that.
The way he did. I mean, even if you remember watching any of the TV shows, the way they did things, he did a very he was trying to teach you at the same time.
He didn't talk down to children.
He didn't talk down to anybody. Everybody was equal. Everybody
but he didn't treat children like they were idiots. But
he explained to them too, who could be somebody bad to who could be somebody, good, and who just because, let's say you got beat up one day, you were there. It doesn't mean you're a bad person because you look roughed up and you look,
Right.
It just could be that you're having a bad day.
Yeah. No, I love Mr. Rogers, man.
So Tom Hanks apparently is related to him somewhere down the line genetically, There's somewhere.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, man. It was. I didn't believe it, and then
I don't
maybe
know.
I read the wrong thing on the internet, but
think
I'm pretty
so.
sure. No, dude, I'm pretty sure. If you want to check it out, but
well, you do that when I go to speak about my next one.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
It says.
Yeah.
They were saying Tom Hanks is related. Yeah, man. Go. I'm just. I need to see it again. I think I.
I want to watch it.
I think I like it, even though it was just. You know, it wasn't based so much on him, but they still threw everything in about him. There's a documentary floating out around about
that came out last year. Yeah.
That talked more about it in depth about him as a person.
Yes.
But yeah, this was more about how he kind of got screwed over too. I think got screwed over by his. They all got, you know, it just there wasn't the right time to be doing what you're doing in that business for children too either, right? There's some weird people and there's some idiots out there, so you got to just really be careful about certain things, right? But no, it was a good film. I liked it. I like his acting always, and the few people that were in there, they did a good job.
All right, there you go. Okay, my number 2. Now I'm actually very interested to hear what your next 2 picks are going to be, because my number 2 is Midsommar. So I'm actually interested to hear what your next 2 are going to be, especially our number 1, because we had another similarity coming up here, at least for our rankings on this one. So my number 2 is Midsommar. For me, even as you could tell from our conversations here on the show and how I raved about it and got you to watch it, I'm sure you anticipated that this is going to be lower on my list. This left a lasting impression on me after I watched it. Like, I was fucked up after watching this movie.
Sorry, I just have to show you.
Oh yeah, so it is true.
Yeah, he is related to
CNN reported on it, which is a pretty credible source.
So I'm pretty sure that he's good.
That's weird. Okay.
They do. So they got that same smile, man.
That's strange. Okay.
He's similar as a person if you think about it in real life. Maybe not such a humanitarian, but yeah. Okay, I just wanted to show you.
No, that's fucked up.
You told me to look it up while you were talking.
No, I appreciate it.
And then
I need to know that.
Yeah, I just needed to tell you that. Sorry.
But yeah, Midsommar. It was a fucked up film. By the time we came out of the theater after watching it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I told everybody about how I watched it, that I know they'll go and watch it. I thought about it for like a week after I watched it. It just had such a lasting impression on me after I watched the film. Not that I didn't really understand. Well, I had some questions maybe, and I haven't rewatched it since, and I would like to see the director's cut. But it was almost like a painful movie to get through. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, I couldn't in good conscience give it number 1, because I wouldn't say I enjoyed the experience, but it was just a really well done film. And it just was so thought-provoking and so, like, fucked up. Like, the visuals and the story and the things that were going on, that it weighed on me so much throughout the whole film, to the point where I left the film. I was just like, what the hell was that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, in a good way. I was like, wow, that was like an experience. Like, it was just... And believe me, I was a fan of the director, Ari Aster. We talked about it. We talked about how much I liked Hereditary, and Hereditary actually was, I think, on my list last year when we did this.
Yeah, I think so. I think I remember now that part I was talking about.
Because I just recently had watched it prior to doing that show, and so going into this one, I knew that it was going to be like more of a psychological kind of horror film. It's not like it's not like a slasher horror film. It's more of psychological, right? So. But yeah, it was just crazy, man. Like, I mean, again, we've talked about this movie. I talked about this movie in length a little bit more on this show with Jay as well. These are all things we've pretty much talked about. We're bringing up now, a lot of them. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I mean, if you guys haven't watched the film, I mean,
I suggest you watch.
Yeah, I suggest you watch it, because but you know, it's it's not for the weak-hearted, I think.
Some people have told me they didn't like it at all. I mean, I've talked to a few people at work and stuff that said they didn't like it at all. I mean, I don't know if it's just maybe not their taste in movies or style.
I can understand that, though.
Yeah. But you can really lose your focus and just not give a shit anymore about the whole story.
Yeah.
If you don't really care to pay attention, so I get what you're saying.
Again, I think it's one of those films, like a few of these in the list here, that I'm looking forward to rewatch it again. But I just know the feeling it gave me after watching the film that I'm still talking about to this day, that it was that good of a movie. For me, my experience watching it, I may not have enjoyed it at all times, the experience, but that's only because it was such a fucked up film, the content in it, right? So, but yeah, so it's number 2 for me of this year, for sure.
Number 2, eh?
Yeah.
So, you want to see what I put my last 2 at, right?
Well, no, I want to hear your second. You can do back to back, and then swing it back
I know. I'm just saying. But I know you want to.
I think we might have one that's the same. Yeah,
I know you're gonna know. Well, one of them. Now you're saying one of them. One of them has to be in there, right?
Yeah.
And I think I know which one it is.
All right. What's your number 2 then?
My number 2 is Irishman.
Wow. Yeah. And that's my number 1.
Yeah, I know. I figured that.
So I'll talk about it. Yeah, go ahead.
But.
We talked about it for an hour and a half.
I know, because we just taled about it recently, a couple episodes ago, literally for an hour and a half long.
It's called So I Hear You Paint Houses, the episode, guys. So if you've listened to this and you've yet to watch that, go back a couple episodes in our feed, and we talk at length about this film, an hour and a half. Yeah, I don't think we should dedicate too much time to it because of that, but for me, it was my favorite film of the year just because of who was involved in it.
I didn't want to take away. I had a feeling Niko was going to do that.
You thought it was going to be my number 1?
Yeah,
Midsommar almost was, but again, the difference for me was I enjoyed spending time with these characters and this film. And watching it, and I know I will rewatch it many times again.
Well, and I know I will too, right?
Where Midsommar, I don't think I can rewatch that many more times. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because it's I mean,
it's still on my Netflix download list.
Yeah.
It's not one of those ones. It's weird. It's because apparently the other day I had downloaded a Batman. Remember I told you the original The Dark Knight? Or I just downloaded it. It told me that it had 24 hours before it expired.
Yeah.
So I didn't know they were doing that with
They do. You can download it, but then it goes away.
But yeah, this one has been downloaded forever, right? No, it hasn't gone away. I mean, I think I've watched it twice. You know, I've watched it 2.5 times. I think I'm halfway through the third time, right? Just because I remember we wanted to make sure we were thorough with it when it came to the show, right? So it was a really great movie. I loved how all 3 of them were in there together. I like those types of shows, movies, types of thrillers and mobster style movies.
Love mobster movies.
And political stuff all in one, right? Because I mean, there's a lot of even TV shows out there now that are doing the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, and to have all 3 of those guys, like we said in the past, in one thing.
That's the only thing I want to add to what you're saying now is the my only couple points I'm just going to quickly make or one, it's like I'm realizing it more and more after watching the film. These guys are almost in their 80s. And they are going to be these old fucking guys that were in the movie at the end of the movie, right? Like, so, like, the fact that these guys all got together to finally kind of close the book on their kind of...
Life?
Not only life, but their career with each other and doing those mobster-type movies and doing a movie about how they're old fucking people in the movie, even.
Yeah.
It just made perfect sense that they would... And if this is the last time, and it probably will be, you ever see these guys all work together, I'm fine with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just was like, it's great. It's that in itself is really impressive, and that not only that, the performances. Like this, Joe Pesci, he doesn't get nominated for something from this movie.
Isn't he already nominated?
Have they said that? Because he really should.
Supposed to get. I mean, they're thinking he might get his second one.
I've never seen Joe Pesci play a character like this in this film, man. Like it's the total opposite of what everything he's done. Like at this point, for being retired and coming out of retirement,
how is it opposite? I mean,
because he's calm and collect. No, but he's very.
That's the only thing.
Normally, the guy, you know how like hot-headed Pacino was in this? That's usually the Joe Pesci character.
Yeah, which is why... But Pacino's played hot character, hot and heavy characters before.
Right.
Hot-headed characters, before.
I'm sorry. I've never seen Pesci, especially with the Scorsese stuff, I've never seen him play a character like he did in this. Yes, he's played gangsters, but he is a much different type of character in this film.
He's played everything, but he's played kids movies and like Home Alone. where he was a totally different guy. Where he was.
I've never seen him play a guy like this that he did in that movie.
Okay, no, I understand. Like I've never seen him play in a mob movie. I've never seen him play a boss. I don't think like that. I've always seen him be the guy that said being a hitman. That's the best way I can think of it. Right?
Yes.
Right. Is that
He's like Paulie from Goodfellas in this movie.
Yeah, he's the he's the one that.
That's what I'm saying.
And gives directions.
If you're gonna put it that way, sure. Maybe it's not like as amazing, but his performance was great in this.
No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it was.
Like,
I think he could have even acted more than he did.
Sure.
I think Al Pacino could have acted more than he did.
No, I loved Al Pacino in this movie too.
But I think the one that did most of the acting there was Robert De Niro, and we've seen a lot of him doing the talking and acting and stuff like that. Between him and Al Pacino, they're the two that had the most parts in it. I think
most screen time.
Most most lines, probably most.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a movie about Jimmy Hoffa and Frank, though.
Know,
it wasn't about as much a Joe Pesci movie.
And I liked how they did the whole CGI thing and tried to make him look younger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the part I mean, like we talked about in the other movie, it's just that you can't change the body movements of an old man.
Yeah.
Right? They're not as movable. You can't move, and unfortunately, they didn't. Some parts they didn't cover that up good enough.
And then lastly, again. It was a mobster movie, but it was also like a biopic. Like it was about this person.
Yeah. But there's been a few of that.
Not really from Scorsese though.
No.
That's
if we're talking Jimmy Hoffa movies and stuff like that, you're talking.
So that's what made this. That's what the icing on top was. That not only did they give you the classic Scorsese mobster movie with all of these fucking guys,
and then they always think it's a hit. It's always been a mob hit, right?
But you also got an analyzation of Jimmy Hoffa as a person, and not only about him, but about again period piece and about getting old, and for me, like all of that, like I was like, this is great, like, and this is just like a moment in time where they got all these people in, and it almost didn't happen. That's the craziest fucking part about this movie, that it's taken them 10 fucking years to do this, and we almost lost out on this. Like, I almost felt it was just not going to happen.
Who was the one that wasn't going to go through with the deal?
They couldn't get the money for it.
It was just Joe. No, but they wanted the money. They wanted a certain amount each of them. They had to get paid a certain amount. The three of them got paid the same amount of money. I don't care. A lot of things
were holding up this film, but mostly it was money.
Well, also, like, you got to remember, you got to change a lot of the scenery too, back and forth. That costs money too. You gotta remember that's all in the costs too when they ask for that money.
Anyways, get into your first one. You know, I don't want to cut you off. But we've talked about it.
I know. I just didn't want.
For me, it's my favorite movie.
Yeah, I was worried that was gonna screw your pickup too, because the way you said bounce back and forth, it's you can do it because it looks like I might be doing it. I ended up doing it, and I didn't know that was gonna be. I would have liked to hear you say it.
No, that's okay. I'd rather talk about it since it's my last one. That's why. So you finish it off here with your number one.
I thought, well, the only other real movie I've seen of this year is The Joker, and I thought that one there was probably. I mean, I've seen a few on Netflix. I've seen some other ones, but I think The Joker kind of got to me. It was more that it hit close to, like, I understood the whole aspect of the way something could change and you can just have a bad day, right? And something can change.
And the mental health themes.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe if that played off on my thing, I don't know if people, like, Niko, that didn't even make your list. And then
we'll get into it in a moment.
Right?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
So, but
that's my number 6. That's the one that I almost wanted to give to El Camino's place, but I had some problems with the film, as you know.
Yeah. And maybe we've
talked about it on
maybe
here.
That's because you are more of a fan. Like I didn't even take into the perspective the whole Batman, the whole Joker, the whole that everything. I got it. I got that was where the perspective. That's what it was. But I seen how he was so mistreated in certain ways, because of a mental illness that he had, like that laughing thing that, you try to do that laugh.
If I was basing it just on the performances in the film, though, it should have made the top 5. He was amazing in it. Joaquin Phoenix was amazing in it. Yes. It's the film itself that bothered me. The story, I didn't like, and again, some of the themes, like I didn't love, like we've talked about it on here. Yeah. I didn't like how they kind of glorified the mental health aspect of it a little bit in it.
I think for the first time it actually made
got
sense.
It right. Yeah.
I think it for the first time to me it got the Joker completely right, because the Joker is not supposed to be just a person, right? It's supposed to be everybody. It's supposed to be sort of like a
yeah, one bad day can turn you into that guy. Yeah, I know.
It could be anything, it could be anybody. And
I enjoyed it.
And that's what happened. I mean, they didn't know what happened. Gotham had a bad day, and a bunch of people turned fucked up. I love the way he did all the acting, how he put on. I like that it stopped just before he went and everything switched over to DC and went sort of, went Marvel on you, and went with the whole storyline. I liked how they used the names and they used certain things, but I really enjoyed that mental health aspect, just because of this sort of year and that it's been. I understand it all. Like I got it. It was a good movie for me to watch and just to enjoy. Like other movies like that, other things like El Camino and Irishman and stuff. I've seen those types of movies before. I just never seen something portrayed as good as this one. I think.
Yeah, it was well done. It was really well done.
I don't know if like you had your problems with it. I understand what you said. You didn't like that.
Again, this is another one I would say falls into the category of I'd like to see it one more time just to kind of get my but there was things that I was picking apart. I found even after watching the film, and Christine is in your camp. Totally disagree with me. Love the film. I really enjoyed it. I thought the performances were excellent. Like I said, it's my number 6. It was going to be my first honorable mention as something that could have slipped in easily instead of El Camino, just based on the performances in it, and maybe I should have made it there, but I enjoyed watching El Camino, while Joker, it was good and it was well done, but I had problems with it. I had problems with the story.
But you are a diehard comic person.
No, but I went into it already knowing that it wasn't going to be faithful to the comics, and that didn't bother me. Okay. Like let's make that clear. Okay. That did not bother me. Was that it was not very faithful to the comics. I'm okay to separate something from the comics and being like, this is its own take on things. I don't need but again, was it needed? Did we need a Joker origin? Maybe some of the reason I was bothered by it was because they were using a comic character to do this type of movie.
I feel like all they've done a lot is or maybe not so much that they've gotten this into depth in the Joker origin. They've always had a beginning on how it, like I can see now where the next one comes into play, where something like the Joker from a couple years back there, what's his name there now, the Heath Ledger one.
Yeah.
Right? I can see now how that one is more after the effect. This is like sort of pre.
Yeah.
Now, because I watched that one too this year, to just put them in both into perspective.
That was better for me, like that performance. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I just think to make yourself go down to 100 and nothing, okay, and
serious method acting,
and to play that type of mental health issues and have that type of whole fucking thing.
That's the thing. That scene where he's talking to the person, like, about him getting cut off of the pills, and how he's trying to explain mental illness.
But how fucked our
healthcare
system is.
Was one of the best scenes of the film. I agree. I loved that scene. The dancing, the movements, the way he transformed into that character by the end of it.
I tried. Dude, I tried.
Great
down the stairs, though.
Great, though. No, but, like, again, fantastic. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I didn't not like the film. I just want to make that clear, but it's just, I had some issues with it. I didn't
even see it in great quality, and if I would have seen it in great quality, I probably would have got to enjoy it so much more. That's probably what I would have wanted.
That's the thing that pisses me off the most, though. I had some issues with it, so much so that I can't even articulate what I didn't like about the film. It was something I just didn't like. Like, it's hard for me.
I still believe that it didn't go that DC way, and you didn't appreciate it.
Maybe it's in the back of my mind, because I don't
everywhere, dude. I mean, that's your storyline. I get it, right?
I did think that the whole storyline about him being the Joker's fucking Joker being his son and all that was pointless to me. Like, I get it. At a certain point, it was like, it was like, yeah, we didn't know what was real, what wasn't, but I didn't think they needed to have that story at all included in it. If it was a movie, here's the thing, the one thing I'll say about it.
Okay.
I think the thing that bothered me the most is that I couldn't pinpoint what the what the theme. Yes, it was all over the place for me. Like if you want, like I was expecting it to be nothing to do with the comics, okay?
Yeah.
But then it had some shit to do with maybe some things from the comics, but different take.
Yeah.
I wish it was either that or the other thing. Like if it was a film just about mental health, then I would have maybe been on board with it. But it wasn't just about that. It was about other things as well.
But it's about everyday life, bro.
Yeah,
and that's what it was about. It was about everyday life
right.
in somebody's life, and it didn't make sense to you, but it made sense to him.
So it didn't make sense. It's it bothered me. Yeah,
how you're
right.
saying between parts of it.
And then the other thing was, after seeing this film, I heard people make the quick comparison, like, this is fucking Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy. And I couldn't get away from that. I'm like, no, and those are two Scorsese films. And I'm like, it fucking is. Like, I'm like, it is those two films. Fucking De Niro, who's in those movies, is in the fucking movie.
De Niro didn't he win an Oscar for that movie? Or
Taxi Driver? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was just Taxi. It wasn't Taxi Driver.
No, it was Taxi Driver.
Was it Taxi
Driver?
Yes,
Taxi was show. That was
anyways. I thought Taxi Driver was okay,
no.
Whatever. Go
on. But yeah, he's in both of those movies I just mentioned, King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, both Scorsese films. Yeah. He's in both of them, and he's in this fucking movie. If this wasn't like this man's in love, this director, with those films and made this fucking movie, it so was. You know what I mean?
He was in the film.
No, but that's it. He's playing the character that's like opposite of him in King of Comedy. The King of Comedy. You've never seen that movie? Have you seen it?
The King of Comedy?
King of Comedy. It's a Scorsese movie. Basically, it's about this guy who's crazy, obsessed with getting on one of these talk shows. He's delusional. Same like this Joker in this movie. And at the end of the movie, he finally makes it onto the show. Mm-hmm. So it's very similar to what this movie was.
Did he get laughed at?
What's that?
Did he get laughed at
in real life? I won't. Well, yeah, I'll leave it to you to watch the film. I'm not gonna get into it.
Okay,
Anyways,
okay, but see, that's what I mean.
That's my honorable mention.
Okay,
and then
that's your honorable.
Is there anything else you want to say on it before? Yeah,
no.
I
mean, it was. I get it. I guess I understood it for this time of year. Sorry,
it was
not
good.
This time of year for this year. I thought for me,
yeah, it was the best.
I mean, there was a lot of movies. Like I said, I watched a lot of Netflix movies. And I even had an honorable mention that I used from a Netflix movie after.
So mine was Joker, John Wick 3. I love the John Wick films, but this one just wasn't as good.
This year, I seen 2.
Yeah, this one just wasn't as good.
1 and 2 were good.
Listen, 3 was good too. Don't get me wrong. Not like it just wasn't like not top 5 worthy in my opinion. The first one was because it was new at that point. This is like every time a new one comes out, I'm like it was good, but it's more of the same, you know.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man: Far From Home. That's my other really enjoyable Superman movie. Superhero movie that I like. I love Spider-Man. And one comedy, because there's no good comedies, it feels like these days, at least in movies. I liked Booksmart. That's basically like it's the girl version, coming of age, kind of like Superbad, but with girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was good. It was funny. It's exactly like Superbad, but just with chicks. But I like those coming of age, kind of last day of high school, type of movies. I like those kind of things, right? So yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, those are my honorable mentions of other films I enjoyed this past year. Probably I just didn't make the cut.
I only thought of one. I mean, only because there's a lot I could probably use as honorable mentions, but they weren't from this year. There's one that I did see that I think everybody should see. Sorry, I got this pain.
Yeah, no worries.
There was one that I did see. It was The Highwaymen.
Oh, that was good. I forgot about that movie. That was good. Yeah, that was good.
The only reason I remembered about that one, too, is because I seen that Woody Harrelson has another movie coming out. Not the Zombieland. That was in there, too, this year. But I watched that. I wasn't a big fan of that Zombieland, too. That wasn't for me.
I like the first one.
The first one was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one.
The second one kind of just dragged on a little bit. But it was good. Don't get me wrong. But, I could throw that in, too, as a mention, too. But yeah, no, Highwaymen was really good.
It was.
The Bonnie and Clyde, the whole chase.
I forgot about that film.
Yeah, I think that one, was really well done. I think anything, to be honest with you, I told you guys this before, that anything with Woody Harrelson is amazing. So I think anybody that thinks he's good, he's got another one out there too. I just haven't got a chance to see it on Netflix, but I can't remember what it's called at the top of my off the top of my head. But that's another one I'd like to see. But I'd watch again, Highwaymen. I keep watching that one if I could. It was just a great movie all around. There was the one with Surprisingly Wicked there. The one with Manson there.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No, it's not Manson. The one on things, Extremely Wicked.
Oh, yes. Was that this year, though, or was that 2018?
No, that was this year. I'm pretty sure that was this year.
That was good, too.
Because I think it was the beginning of the year,
That was
right?
good, too. If
I'm not mistaken.
Manson. It wasn't Manson. It was Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy,
Ted Bundy, yeah.
I was thinking of watching this one, Six Underground.
Yeah, I saw that come up.
Anything that you liked? And this one, I don't know if that one.
I haven't seen it.
Oh no,
yeah.
because it's what's his name, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But he's not good in any other films, but it's kind of fucked
He's had
up.
some good comedies back in the day.
Yeah,
comedy fan Wilder. Hey, watch it now.
If you're looking at this one, if you're looking at this, he looks like an action figure.
Yeah.
He looks like a.
He was good comedic actor before he was Deadpool, all right? So just to get that straight.
He was, and you know what? Honestly, he's probably still a good actor somewhat if they're looking for him in films, right? But yeah.
Anyways, so that does it for our movies. Our favorite movies of the past year. Good year of movies. Like, for example, I just also wanted to bring up, like, these are some of the movies, though, I wrote down that I didn't end up seeing that I want to watch. Ford versus Ferrari, Knives Out.
It was the beginning of this year.
Dolomite is My Name, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which you talked about. Thank you for that. But these are like some of the other films that are out right now that I really want to watch, especially this Ford versus Ferrari. Apparently that's really good.
That one's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, so like, again, guys, we didn't watch all the films that came out, but these are just some ones that we liked that we wanted to highlight. So
and there's a few films on Netflix that I'd like to watch and I'd like to check out.
Tune in during the year. I'm sure we'll get to it, and this is something that we always talk about on the show, right?
We're gonna get there. Don't worry. I got a lot of time to watch stuff, especially come the new year.
Right. Anyways, but with that being said, though, let's transition over to the TV conversation now. All right, Jay. Why don't you start us off with the TV here? Because now this is my disclaimer now about this segment is. Jay, whereas I watch more movies, or at least have the time to go out and watch films and watch them more so than Jay, like he spoke about, he watches a hell of a lot more TV than I do. So like,
I couldn't even fucking come up with 5. Like, I came up with a shitload, and I'm gonna start talking about them just because, you can maybe, after I start mentioning shows, remember what you watched. I even forgot a lot of shit that I watched, man. That's how much TV I've actually... Complete seasons. And remember, not all of these are going to be they're going to be the seasons from this year, but they're going to be... A lot of them will be continuations of stuff that's...
Well, yeah, same with me. Some of mine are continuations as well, and that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, this was one of those years where, again, I don't have much free time, so... I felt myself falling into the comfortability of rewatching a lot of shows that I've previously watched that I enjoy. Like, I ended up rewatching a bunch of stuff and just making time for the shows I was already currently watching.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many new shows I actually watched this past year. Like, for example, Watchmen, Doom Patrol, The Boys, all fucking shows.
Not even this year, man. Doom Patrol was last year,
and then it just came out on the channels. I think though this year, like at least it came on our it was at the end of 2018. I know that, but I think it just came. It was on the DC app at first. Then it came on to.
Oh, that's why I got to watch it. Well, I mean, I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, no, but I'm just saying, that's why. Yeah. So. That's what I mean. These are just some good shows that I've really wanted to watch, but I haven't watched any of them, right? So, anyways, go on.
But the good thing about, like, I mean, all these new streaming sites and stuff like that, like Amazon and Netflix and now because
fucking Apple TV has one now.
Well, yeah, because Disney came out. Because once Disney came out with it, that was it, man. Everybody knew they were gonna lose all their fucking shows, and they had to sign people.
Yeah.
I think they had to sign actors to specific contracts.
Yes.
In order to to keep them there
Keep
instead of going to
exclusivity.
go to Disney. Because Disney is taking over everything. Everybody I know has Disney already.
Yeah.
And it's not even
Myself
fully
included.
ready. They don't even have everything on there. Like, they don't have any TV shows.
Well, they have 2 originals. That's it.
They don't even have any TV shows yet. They don't have anything that they...
No, they do.
I think they were going to buy Hulu. There was talks that they were going to buy Hulu.
Right.
And Hulu carries a lot of TV shows that I watch. And if they go onto Hulu, then I'm fucked. Because a lot of those TV shows that I watch are going to be gone.
They also have Simpsons, though, which has never been on anything. They have every single episode of The Simpsons.
But didn't The Simpsons start coming out on Netflix first originally?
No.
Or is that the Family Guy?
Simpsons is Family Guy.
Okay, yeah. Family Guy is. But they don't have every episode of the Family Guy yet, I don't think, on Netflix. No, I think they're releasing certain ones at a time.
No, but I'm saying, but the fact that they have like all 30 fucking seasons of Simpsons from Disney Plus is a pretty huge thing. Like,
yeah, but what, you're gonna sit back and you're gonna watch 30 years? That's your whole life. Well,
it's been around my whole life. That's what I'm trying to say. No, but I'm just saying for it to all be in one spot, like that's never happened. You know what I mean? Like, so that's
at the touch of a button. I know.
Yes, it's a pretty big deal.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. I totally understand. I mean,
that was a big acquisition for them when they bought out some of the Fox stuff. Like Simpsons was part of that deal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like things like that. They may not have many originals, but that's now. Give it this year. They're going to probably take over the game. You know what I mean? They're smart. They're doing a slow rollout. Anyways, go on.
So there is a lot of shows that one of the first shows I want to mention, because I just finished watching and it kind of blew my mind, and I kind of want Niko, another one I want Niko to see is The Feed. And it came out on Amazon. And
I never even heard you talk about this.
Yeah, exactly, because I watched it in a day and a half, okay? Dude, I watched 10 episodes in a day and a half.
This is your number 5?
Yes. No, right. This is like just there. I mean,
you're not ranking your 5 shows.
I can't rank my 5 shows.
Okay, so
as of right now, right now, that one would probably be
What's that
up
about?
There on my, that would probably be my number 5. That one is a British. It's a British show. So Netflix, I noticed, is starting to take on a lot of British shows, a lot of different genres of shows and stuff like that. So you're getting to see different actors, in different talks, talks. What the hell am I speaking now? Different languages.
Different talks. Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different talks.
And then the only problem I don't like with that is that they put somebody speaking in English over top of it. They overlay it.
Right.
And if you're watching, I tend to watch facial expressions a lot when I'm watching shows, so you can see that going on with the mouth. Yeah. Sorry how I'm pointing there, because I want to know that I'm speaking English. There's no subtitles or anything, but there should be. Maybe we'll get into that in the new year. Sorry, man.
We're going to give you subtitles soon for these YouTube videos. Yeah.
We're going to need.
Different talks.
Niko's a little bit behind, guys. That's when the subtitles are added in afterwards. Yeah.
All right, go on.
So what it is, it's a series based on, everybody's hooked up to a feed. It's a general, like an internet, but it's through something and you don't get into too much of it in the first season, but into something that's hooked into the back of your neck, and it displays through your eye, but you can turn it on and off. You know what I mean? So everybody's connected. Everybody knows what's going on. You can make a call.
This sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
It is, but better.
Okay.
I think it blew out of my mind. Like, I thought about that.
Yeah.
When I was watching
like
it,
Twilight Zone kind of.
There's been a lot of stuff like that. There's been a lot of different little series where
I would like this.
Where they kind of make kind of like half human people. But these guys got nothing. These guys are not are human.
Is this an Amazon show? Amazon.
Yeah, this is on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can watch the whole series. The whole season all in one shot.
Is it like 6 episodes if it's British? Usually that's the case with these ones.
No,
right?
This one is 10 episodes, man. This one was really, really well done.
Right.
And and they left it open at the end for a new season. So I'm hoping that it is going to come out with another season. And these guys tend to do that because there's a lot of good actors out there that don't get recognized in America and stuff like that. They're recognized in their countries and stuff like that, and they should be recognized here. I'm not quite sure of their names at the top of my head right now. I think one of them is Michelle Farley and Guy Burnett. Or Guy, whatever they want to call him out there. I don't know how they say it on the other end of the world. But yeah, so very good. But
you know, when
something happens, like when something crashes, there's one guy that kind of developed the whole thing, and from there on, he went and said had it and everything, and then there was this huge feed, and it's connected to everybody, but they find out there's this virus in there, and that's all I'm going to get into.
Okay.
And now it is starting to affect everybody, but. It just shows how much possibility that this could really be one day reality for all of us, right? Which is so cool. Like I like shows that are based like that.
Makes you think.
Makes you really think that what the way our future is going. That our kids, well, maybe not so much our kids, but I mean people's kids could these days. Could be those types of people that develop this kind of stuff and this technology and this kind of which is so neat to know that one day this could happen, right? But a great show, really well done, really well based. Storyline was great. I think everybody should take a look at it. I'll put that as a number 5 show because right now, as of all the TV shows, like I said, that's the latest one I just watched. I
got me interested.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, I've wanted to tell you about this whole week.
Nice.
And I haven't had a chance because I haven't seen you like I usually do, right? So this is why I said this would be But yeah, honestly, great show. Watch it, everybody out there. I mean, if I rewatch it again and I really think about it, I could probably rank it a lot higher.
Sure.
But I just want to throw, because we're only going to do some 5 shows, I'm going to throw some out there that
I'm sure you got a shitload of honorable mentions at the end of this, right?
Oh, I mean, this one would have never made my honor roll. Right. This one would have been one for sure. Sorry, right? And,
okay.
Yeah.
So my first one at number 5 is The Mandalorian. Now, I originally had this lower on my list, but the season's only like halfway done. Yeah. It's only like 6 episodes in, so I felt wrong putting it higher than what it, because it hasn't finished. Unlike all the other shows in my list, they've all finished their seasons within 2019, where this is still ongoing. So,
well, this one, like I said, that first one that I watched was a brand new 2019.
Right.
Like so that one.
It just made the cut. Yeah.
Just made it.
So Mandalorian, like I said, it's not finished yet, and that's why I moved it from like number 2 or 3, where I originally had it, to number 5. Mm-hmm. But I've been enjoying this show so much so far that I had to put it in my top 5. So yeah, it's in at number 5. Again, if you're a Star Wars fan, and even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think that there's a lot to love in this show. The thing that's great about it is they're pulling from a lot of the original characters and concepts and ideas, and what made Star Wars fun about the original films. Like, the new film's not so great, and the last film was terrible, so then going into this last movie that's going to be coming out next week, how they're gonna fucking end it all, it's questionable at this point, because that second film in this newest trilogy I felt was not good. So like I'm more so looking forward to the weekly episode that's been dropping, because they only drop one a week of the new episodes of Mandalorian ever since Disney Plus's launch, and every Friday I'm looking forward to watching it, man. Like I love it. It's so much fun. It's just, and they're doing a lot of things right. Like, they made Star Wars fun again, and the things that they're doing right in it, for example, like the main character has never even taken off his fucking helmet. It's like about a bounty hunter, like Boba Fett, but you never even see the guy without his helmet. So he's emoting and acting so well and doing such a great job with the fucking helmet on. Like, you know what I mean? It's awesome. The Baby Yoda that's taken over the fucking internet, it's a fucking puppet. Like, a lot of the decisions they made, like Jon Favreau's involved, the guy who did Iron Man and stuff like that, the director.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's behind this show. Like, he's the one that created it. And he's obviously got other people writing each episode and working with them. He's directing it. And I just think these guys get it. Like, they know what makes Star Wars fun. Like, every episode's a one-and-done story. Every episode's a new mission that this guy is going on. Yeah. And he's taking care of the Baby Yoda along the way, because he never meant to... Like, basically the way he ended up with the Baby Yoda is he was told to get this baby or get this 50-year-old, but it turns out 50-year-olds for this species are still babies, okay? So then by the end of the first episode, when you find out it's this fucking Baby Yoda, he's in this, like, predicament where he's a good guy, like he's a good man, like even though he's a bounty hunter, like he has like a code, you know what I mean? So like he's like, I can't fucking give this baby over. Like, what are you gonna do with this baby? Like, that's what I mean. He's just like, and the thing's like adorable. So then he ends up having to protect this thing and like make his way throughout the universe. And each story that they tell, it's like you see like.
But you don't even know if this guy's gonna grow up to be the Yoda.
No. This is in the future. This is after Yoda.
Oh.
This is after the end of the first trilogy. The original.
Okay. See,
so the Empire has fallen. So the
yet.
Empire has fallen. So the Empire has already fallen at this point. So like they make reference to it a little bit throughout. But anyways, it's just so enjoyable, and I can't wait for more.
Let me ask you a question. Is this the one that even the kids are watching too? Is that the one that, like, let's say my nephews would have been watching?
Yes, they're watching
with my brother?
Yeah, they're watching it.
Oh,
yeah.
See, yeah, they're just. I guess that's a good way for Disney to suck everybody in.
Listen, they're the corporate overlords by putting this fucking adorable. Bro, everyone loves the baby Yoda. Don't get me wrong.
My nephews want to fight like those guys with they're doing that whole thing.
I see what they're doing. They know what they're fucking doing, putting this cute
they're
puppet
not stupid,
thing.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean.
So, like I said, what is it? Marketing.
Right. But listen, I still can't forget all that. The show is still excellent. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm not doubting.
Don't make this be the reason why you don't watch the show. Anybody out there, where if you're like, I'm sick of this Baby Yoda thing. No, the show is fun. It's excellent. It's well directed. It's well acted. The only thing that's bothered me so far is in the newest episode that just aired this past Friday. Fucking Bill Burr was in it. Okay, I love Bill Burr, but like I was like Bill Burr shows up as like some sort of mercenary, and it took me right out of it. I'm like fucking Bill Burr, bro. I'm like no, I don't see this, bro. Bill Burr should not be in Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Is he cracking jokes?
Yeah,
like, the
yeah.
type of jokes that he cracks
for
kids
like,
to watch.
He showed up like a mercenary of some sort. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. It just took me right out of it. It was like when Ed Sheeran
making jokes.
Bro, it was like when Ed Sheeran showed up in Game of Thrones. He showed up on an episode. Ed Sheeran.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he showed up, and then I'm like, bro, it's fucking Ed Sheeran. What's he doing on Game of Thrones, right? He just like took me right out of it. So
you know what it is. Well, Bill Burr does do
I love Bill
share
Burr.
of acting
I love
too, right?
He does. He was in Breaking Bad. Listen,
Yeah,
I love Bill Burr, but when he showed up in this fucking episode, I was like, I don't know about that.
It's kind of weird for a Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
Now, another quick question about that. Does one of the guys from, what's his name there? Silent Bob there, what's his name?
Kevin Smith?
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Is he the one? Does he do a commentary on that one? No, I know he does a commentary.
He's a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, so he does a commentary, like a little show, after show. Is that what it is? Does he do an after show of that, or from saying no? There's something that he does an after show I've heard of, but I thought that was what it was. So
maybe I just never seen it.
Because my old man was telling me about an after show for something, but it could have been for one of these new movies, Man on High Castle or something.
He could have very well did it for this, though. I wouldn't be surprised because he's a big Star Wars fan. I just haven't seen it. So.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I think that's what my dad was saying. And if you like that, then check.
Maybe that's what I mean. Like because I'm a Kevin Smith fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does like you know they do at the end of Walking Dead and shit.
Yeah, like
that.
a wrap up. Yeah, analyzing the episode.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. That's an awesome way, and I've never seen any of the Star Wars, so it's just not my thing. I don't want to jump on the ship now because all of a sudden Disney's.
You don't need to know anything by watching this show, though. This is what I'm trying to say. You don't need to have watched any of it. It's just a fun fucking show. It's about a bounty hunter.
Yeah, but it's based on but only the Yoda's the main character in this.
He's not even Yoda.
Or whatever, the baby Yoda. It's all the same looking characters.
No, the main character is the bounty hunter. Mando is his name. The Mandalorian.
And he's in actual Star Wars in a movie somewhere.
He is not in any of the Star Wars.
None of these guys are actually in the Star Wars at all.
None of these characters in this show have ever been in any of the Star Wars movies. That's what's great about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like for the first time, they've actually went off and did a Star Wars movie show that's outside of any of the other films. Like, yes, it has certain creatures that you see in the other films, and that's why it's relatable, but at the same time, it's its own thing. That's what makes it fun. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is, like, it's good that they went off and did, like, their own little side story, and if this is the potential of how good these shows could be, like, I don't even need any more movies. Just keep making fucking spin-off shows of Star Wars. I'm fine with that.
No, I didn't know. I thought it was all characters from there. You were seeing all these guys that were, you know. No,
so like, and I'll say one more thing, and then we can wrap it up for me on this one. Basically, the bounty hunters, the Mandalorian, that's what Boba Fett was.
Okay.
So in the sense, yes, there is a bounty hunter in it. There is a Mandalorian. There is somebody who was like Boba Fett, one of the characters you know from the older movies. But this is not him. So that's what I mean. So like that's what I mean. Like you're using characters and concepts that you may have been familiar with from watching the other films, but there's no characters in this that are the same. Like there's a Yoda-like creature, but it's not Yoda. You know what I mean? So it's a bit outside of the other films. Like it has nothing to do with the other characters.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it isn't the same characters, but it's the same part of the universe
Yes,
or space. Or
exactly. It's a big fucking universe, right?
Yeah,
they have so much they can do, and but they just keep doing the same fucking thing, and that's the problem. That's why some people don't like the new trilogy, because it's the same fucking thing. There's a new Luke, there's a new Han Solo, you know what I mean? But like, it's the same fucking thing. This is a little bit different. This is a fucking show about a bounty hunter, which they've never done. So that's cool.
True.
Yeah. Anyways, go on.
Okay. So I've watched. So what I would say on a number 4, like on number 4 of stuff I've watched, I would say probably the next one would have been this TV series Goliath. I watched them all from the beginning this whole year, but it started in 2017. I think now this is the 3rd season, right? It's about it starring what's his name?
Billy Bob
Thornton. Sorry, yeah. He's starring Billy Bob Thornton. It's a thriller. It's pretty good. It's got a lot of characters in there. It's a law firm that he used to own, and he went off and got drunk, and they still haven't really said how he's fallen off, why he left, right? But he keeps taking these pro bono cases and stuff like that to help people out, because once he gets hooked on these actual cases, it becomes really personal to him. So he tends to do, and I think the way he's playing this character, a drunk lawyer, and playing it really good with a problem. This season he went after a big drug corp, like they were smuggling a lot of drugs, and they were bringing it over, but it was also had to do with people in Texas and how they were they're diverting water so they can keep it for themselves, right? And then other people's lands would dry off.
Oh shit!
So they were building underground water tunnels and passageways so that they would divert the water to themselves.
And they were killing people's crops.
So they sold their properties to them.
The market, smart. Yeah,
and they were buying it. Yeah, but there was this little.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like this. The town, the one guy that ran everything and owned the biggest property, was the head of the board of the water committee in this little town that they're talking about. So it was just it was really good, and he ends off this one, and he's kind of stuck, and you don't know where it's going to go from there. So I'm waiting to see the next season 4. Great show. There's 3 main characters. There was him and William Hart, and there was a girl that I can't remember her actual name, and she's a really good character. She plays a hooker in it, but she's also like a law secretary for him, right? He uses her to help him out, but she's also a really good friend, right? And sometimes stuff happens, and in the seasons that between them, her name is in the show it's Brittany Gold, but in real life it's Tanya. What is that? Tanya
Reynolds. Raymond. Yeah.
Yeah, with an E. Raymond.
I've seen her and stuff. She's good. Yeah.
But I don't know
Sexy.
exactly where she is. I thought that was the girl from Shameless, but it's not.
No.
She looks like her on the show, but no.
Yeah, she's
There's a lot
looking.
of them. There's a lot of great and that other one there too. There, Nina Andred.
This guy's in it. This guy's a fucking creep. This guy.
He's a creep on the show. Bro. You got it.
Mark Duplass. He's in a movie called Creep. You ever seen that fucking movie?
No,
bro, you gotta watch that, bro.
They're all really good characters, man. There's so many in here that I want to name.
Yeah.
But they're all really good. They all play their roles really great. But yeah, no.
Diana Hopper. Is that Dennis Hopper's fucking daughter?
I don't know, man. I don't know. To be honest with you, dude. No, it doesn't say, does it?
She's okay. No, I don't know.
It'll say there, born blah blah blah, Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I guess not. Who is Diana Hopper's No.
No.
Just a coincidence. Sorry to
It's
throw
two
you off
hoppers.
there.
I think the other one's only one, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 piece. Sorry.
Yeah.
2 hoppers.
Yeah.
2 piece. 2 hoppers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So that was a great.
This is another one that's on my list to watch. Goliath.
Yeah, it's just
like
a lot,
Billy Bob.
man. I mean, I told you, there's a lot that I'm gonna have.
He's won an award for this show, hasn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest with you, everybody should watch it. Billy Bob Thornton, and he doesn't play that. He doesn't play that perverted, dirty Santa. He plays a good drunk.
You want to know something? I watched that last night. I love that Santa.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't. He plays a great drunk.
Yeah.
I think he's aging well too, man. For what is he? He's I thought it said what he was there. No, it usually says on the side. Well,
yeah.
You had it clicked on there.
I'm not sure.
But no, he's what?
64.
64. Yeah, man. So I mean,
he's
still out there. He's still doing his thing. Doesn't he do stuff with Quentin Tarantino and stuff like that? No. He never. I thought he was in something that.
Coen Brothers, he did something with. Yeah,
but he plays a lot of fucked up characters.
Never with Tarantino, as far as I know.
He just plays a lot of fucked up characters. This one is more down to earth and wanting to help people, a different type of person. Not always, but still a drunk, which is great because that's just him. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best way he plays a character, to be honest with you. He tries to get sober, but, it is what it is, right? You go ahead.
All right, so my next one, number 4 on my list is Righteous Gemstones. This was a new show, actually, that just aired this year by Danny McBride. I'm a fan of his comedy. I'm a fan of his. I think he does really good shows. It's about a family, the Gemstones, that are basically a religious group, they're part of a church.
Okay.
And they're all reverend, different whatever you call them, actual all of their preachers essentially. They're they're a group, but the family is real fucked up. They have all these family problems, internal issues between them.
Just like every family?
Yeah, exactly. But, they're men of religion, so they have this certain image that they have to portray to the people, their followers, right? Their flock or whatever. But it's one of those operations where they're so wealthy because of this operation that they got going that they have to keep up appearances in the media, right? And they're always at war with other churches in the area because they want people to come to their churches because they're the ones that pitch into the plates every week, right?
Obviously.
So it's like a business, right? So they get into all that kind of shit. And yeah, I don't want to give too much more away from that, but I will say the main reason why it's here on my list is not only that I'm a fan of Danny McBride's comedy, and it's a very funny show, it's because this is one of the more dramedy kind of shows that he's done, more so than the others. It's just really well done. He really balances the drama and comedy in this, where it's compelling, and there's action as well as funny stuff. And the cast, Walter Goggins is in it, who's just excellent. He plays this guy, Baby Billy, Uncle Baby Billy, this, and you can barely, you could tell it's him. He comes in with this crazy wig and all this kind of stuff, but he's just so good as this character. He always plays wacky ass character. This this actor right here, I was showing you right now. This guy, he's been in Quentin Tarantino's movies. This dude.
Oh, I've seen him before.
This guy's fucking such a great actor, though. He plays such a good character in this show, and the cast is really good in this. Is that the one?
That's it's got a thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. The one from
John Goodman. John Goodman's in it. He's really good in it. So yeah, for a new show, I just think they had a really great first season, and it's another successful show yet again from Danny McBride. I've loved all the little shows that he's done on HBO. Including the last one he did, Vice Principals, which Walter Goggins was also in, and he was a fucking freak in that. But in this show, he's excellent, and so is everybody else. So Righteous Gemstones, if you're looking for a new comedy, also a good drama as well. It was one of those 8 or 10 episode HBO series that just came out this past year. So they're half-hour episodes for the most part, and easy to get through, right? So I really enjoyed it.
Nice. What's an episode?
Episode.
Sorry, dude.
Nice one.
I wanted to, but
I repeat it.
No, you know what my thing is too. I haven't really gotten into so much comedy this year, which is kind of a weird thing. I don't get into a lot of comedy shows? Comedy, drama, more thriller, drama, that kind of stuff.
No, I enjoy comedy. It kind of breaks up all the other bullshit.
I like the fucked up
I think you
shit.
need to learn to laugh more in your life.
I laugh
so,
too much, man. I got a lot of comedy at work, so
right.
I'm good, man. I don't need any comedy at home. But
talk about your next episode.
My next movie, TV show. There, I fucked up for you guys. There you go. Thanks.
Go on.
But yeah, so there's so many I have. Okay, guys, and I'm not placing them in order, but I want. You know what? I'm gonna start placing maybe my last 3 here in order, because these last 3 that I'm telling you guys should watch. You guys should watch. Okay. Castle Rock is the second season it's come out. I'll give that a number 3 for me. Because the only reason I'm going to put it at number 3 is because this season kind of, I mean, I know where it's gone now. I don't want to say too much for everybody, because I think, well, I don't know about Niko so much as Christine would like this show. I think Christine would probably maybe like it more. It's more of a Stephen King based TV show. It's really good. It ties into Shawshank. It ties into Castle Rock, which everything basically is from Castle Rock. If you ever really listen to or read Stephen King books, they talk about Maine a lot, and Castle Rock's a town in Maine.
It's from Maine. Everything's in Maine.
Everything that he does is in Maine, and this one actually I think has to do with his daughter, if I'm not mistaken. She's part of the directing. Is it daughter or is it son? I can't remember what he has. I think it's got a couple.
Well, his son's a writer as well.
So it might be his son and his son. They're doing.
I don't think he's involved in Castle Rock. Maybe it is his daughter.
That's what. There's something going on there, because there's another King in something else that I watched it.
Yeah, his son goes by Joe Hill, so he goes by Hill, a different last name. So it's probably not him.
It's probably the daughter, because these guys are going by King. So besides the point, great show. The first season hasn't really tied into the second. It's tied in somewhat to the second season now, that the end of the season. But basically, it's about an evil being living in the basement of Shawshank. They had locked him away, and it has to do with the warden's old writings and his old stuff that he has to deal with, and people are trying to decipher it, because people are randomly writing stuff everywhere and writing things on the wall, or sorry, not on the wall, in their picture books and their notebooks, just like this, and everybody that can see that I have in front of me. But yeah, no, it's a really good, really great season. It just finished. I'm pretty sure this was maybe a mid-season
finale.
Break. A mid-season break because of the holidays.
Yeah.
So I would say that's right now my number 3. Great show to watch. I think everybody should watch it. It's on, if I'm not mistaken, it's Hulu. That's why I was talking about. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I could be mistaken. It's between that and HBO, but I'm pretty sure it's Hulu. Great fucking series. Great everything. It is Hulu. I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hulu.
So there's so many that they have on that station that are really good to watch. But they're actually on television too as well, right?
Yep.
So, but yeah. Everybody should watch it. Take a look. Apparently, Sissy Spacek's supposed to be in it at one point.
She's good.
I don't know if she's just guest starring or whatever, but they have Tim Robbins is in it from Shawshank, but he's got nothing to do with Shawshank. I mean, he's just an old Tim Robbins, but
he's good.
Yeah, there's a list of actors that goes. I don't even know. I think a lot of them are just new actors. It's not even fun. It's, to be honest with you, I don't even think you see them in a lot of stuff. I haven't seen them in a lot of things myself, besides Tim Robbins. I might have seen, there's a Somalian guy in there that I seen. Yeah, Andre Holland, I think it was, that I seen somewhere else. But, yeah, no. And this young one in the beginning, you see this first name there, what's his name?
Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, Skarsgård, he's...
It starts off with him, right?
Yeah.
So, oh shit, now I know where Sissy Spacek was in there. It's the mother.
Okay.
You guys gotta watch it. To be honest with you, it starts off with that kid. He's possessed, and he's the one that they have locked up in the bottom of the prison.
I don't know if it's him or his brother, but one of them is It. Maybe it's him. It, like the actual movie It. One of the Skarsgård plays It.
Oh,
it might be him. It might be him. Yeah, I think it might be.
I think it is. It's because yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it is him. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, I knew I seen him somewhere, right? But he's got a very limited time in the shows so far. I think he might be coming out more in the third season or this next part of the season, so that'll be nice to see.
Well, that's 2 Stephen King things he's been involved in, if that's the case. Then and Castle Rock. There
yeah,
you go.
He does. So like Tim Robbins.
Yeah.
Right, Shawshank.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, if you think about it,
it's all connected, bro.
It's all connected. It's a weird world. No, Tim Robbins. Sorry, the Castle Rock. Watch it, everybody. Great fucking. I thought there was a book series about it, but no, there isn't apparently.
No.
This is just something that they just went off, and they're bringing a lot of storylines into this somehow, in some way or another, like even possessions and stuff like that, stuff that he's got in other books.
A lot of Stephen King themes.
Yeah, I don't want to get into too much of the details because in case it gets too, we end up having a discussion about this because you watch it. But yeah, that'll be my number.
More
3.
doubtful of watching this one, me personally, because I think you hit it on the head when you said I don't know if I'd like this one as much, but the other two sounded more interesting.
Well, you're not gonna laugh if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking
I'm not always looking for laughs.
No, you're not. You're gonna be in suspense the whole time you're watching it, and you're gonna have to pay attention.
But speaking of suspense and laughs, my number 3 pick is Barry season 2. Barry. Bill Hader is the main character. It's about a hitman who he basically goes out for one of his hits that's in Hollywood, and then he falls in love with a girl while he's out there. He signs up for an acting class to get close to his next his next victim, and then while he gets involved in this class, he gets to know the other people and falls into acting and actually wants to become an actor once he actually gets into it. And then he falls in love with one of the girls, one of the actors, who's just like a deplorable fucking human being. I hate this fucking girl. Like, she's just an awful fucking person, and for some reason he's into her. But he's basically a hitman who was an ex-person that was like in Afghanistan. Like he's a vet. He was like a sharpshooter, like one of these fucking guys that's like really fucking good at killing people, and like was like a sniper, right? So he's just very skilled, and when he got out, he's one of these guys that when he got out of the army, he was looking for something to do, and he fell back into basically a life of being a hitman because he was just really good at killing people, right? So, and then from there, especially this season, they really delve deep into like the psychosis of like where he's coming from in his head and how he's dealing with because he like almost has like PTSD from his time in the war, and how he's basically, this is Bill Hader, a guy who's mostly known as a very comedic actor, right? He was on SNL. He's fucking hilarious, and the show is funny. It has a lot of very comedic moments, but again, this juggles, it walks that fine line of comedy with drama and action, and they just pulled it off and did a really great job. And another amazing performer in this show throughout this season especially is Henry Winkler, the Fonz. He's fucking in the show, and he's the acting coach. He's excellent in this. I just think following up the first season for being such a weird, different type of show that came out and being successful as it was, going into the second season, I'd say the second season was even better than the first. So it's just a really, really good show, and I love Bill Hader, and I think that anybody who's not watching this show or not aware of it, definitely check it out. Barry, it's called, and it's, again, an HBO show, and it's one of those things where it's a half-hour episodes, and again, probably like 8 or 10 episodes a season, so you can fly through, this stuff within a week, depending on how, a couple days, depending how much time you have, right? But it's a really, really enjoyable show, so definitely check it out.
All right, I'll have to check that one out. To be honest with you,
it's really good.
I've never watched it. I see. This is what's funny. It's kind of like Niko's got different ones than me, and I'm surprised that he's watched already 2 shows this year. I made a 5 list, and I also had honorable mentions, but I probably won't get into those. But like, there's just a lot of big shows that I haven't watched this year, right? Like a lot of these are continuations, like Barry. The only show that was, you know what? There's 2 new shows I mentioned, Mandalorian and Righteous Gemstones are new, but everything else on my list now are just continuations of shows I've watched the previous years, right? So, anyways, go on. So my number 2, this one I'll have to give to Jack Ryan.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought this was gonna make your top 5.
I didn't know if it was gonna make my top 5. To be honest with you, I've watched so many shows this year. I started to realize what I watched.
This is an Amazon show.
There'll be honorable mentions and stuff like that. Yeah, I forgot I had Amazon, to be honest with you. At one point, I had Amazon Prime, and I'm like, I'm paying for this thing every year. I forgot I got Amazon. I got the TV. I can watch that. So I started watching shit on there, and I downloaded the whole 2 seasons of or 3 seasons of no, it was 2 seasons of Jack Ryan, and man.
Starring John Krasinski, different from the movie Jack Ryan, which was, I guess, Tom Cruise.
I didn't even watch the movie Jack Ryan, to be honest.
But that was it Tom Cruise?
It's because I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise. If that's the case, I don't
him?
Even know. To be honest, I've never watched it.
Go on, I'll check. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, what a great show! Like, this guy, the one that you're talking about, John Krasinski or whatever. Like, he was in The Office. You said?
Oh no, these are the Matt Damon ones, I think.
Yeah, see, I didn't think it was.
Yeah, not Tom Cruise. No, I'm thinking of Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, Mission Impossible was Tom Cruise. Nobody. So it never really interested me, the movie, for some reason.
Oh, that's not even Matt Damon. Never mind, I'm way off.
Oh, that's
that
fucking
guy. Captain Kirk from the Star Trek movies.
Yeah, he's in something else I've been watching lately too.
At least the last Jack Ryan ones. There's been other actors that have played him.
What's his name again?
I don't know. I'll check. Go on.
Yeah, no worries, no big deal. But yeah, so Jack Ryan, TV series, great. It's a continuation from, I think, last year it started to come out. I think it's 2 seasons, to be honest with you, but actually no, it could be 3 if I'm mistaken. But yeah, I just started watching. Well, I finished watching the 3rd season or 2nd season. I can't even remember.
2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah, because I keep seeing things for season 3. That's the problem, right? Even on my phone too, that pops up. So yeah, I just finished watching about a month ago season 2, and it was just unbelievable.
Chris
man.
Pine, that's his name. Yeah.
I was hoping that you know, it wasn't gonna be good, just so I can say, you know. But it blew my fucking mind. The intensity. Of the thriller.
Is it similar like the James Bond movie, like something like that?
Better, man. I don't know.
CIA, it's like spy shit, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's like the guy's doing numbers, and he figures out some stuff.
Or he's a Marine, I guess.
Yeah, but he's an ex-Marine, but he's just sitting figuring out numbers at a desk. I think he's got a little PTSD, to be honest with you, when it comes down, because he's been in.
There you go. Similar in themes, the stuff we're talking about, sort of.
You know, in the war and stuff like that, he had to go. But he's been trying to follow all these people and these the U.S. and how they're trying to manipulate everything. It's just a crazy all-out show.
Yeah.
I've watched I kind of rush watched it. I watched the 2 seasons back to back, right? Because I got hooked, and it was just like one show after another, after another, right? So, it just blew my mind. They had everything there. I mean, I'm losing even just my thoughts just thinking of it right now, because you got the screen on here with this whole movie cast is throwing me off. They're not the same people on my thing, right in my head. So yeah, his buddy too, that comes out of retirement to help him out is awesome. He's Wendell Pierce.
He's from The Wire. I love him. Yeah, he's great.
He was on The Wire. He's really good. Like I said, I watch these actors that Niko watches TV shows, and I really like them, right? But
that's what I know him from. Like,
yeah, you said this guy John Krasinski was from The Office, right?
Yeah,
and I've never watched The Office.
One of the main fucking characters.
I can't see him being in The Office. I could see him. The way he comes out in the show is in the first.
He's also in that movie, The Quiet Place.
A suit and tie.
The Quiet Place, the one with the aliens. He's in that. Did you not see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the fucking dad in that.
Oh fuck yeah! See, this is what happens when you watch so much stuff. Everything gets crisscrossed, right? So no. I would suggest. I'm waiting for season 3 to come out.
Cool.
I would suggest everybody watch it.
Yeah.
It's it made my number 2 in the last 6 months that I can think of anything that I've really seen. Because prior to 6 months ago, those I'm going to throw on probably some honorable mentions. But yeah, this one is honestly, ultimately, one of the best shows I've seen this year.
Wow. Okay, that's high praise. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
With coming from you watch a lot of stuff, so that's pretty high praise. My number 2 show is Glow season 3 that aired this last year. I think this is a show that I don't hear anybody ever talking about, but it's a really fucking good show. So much so that I flew through the season as soon as it came on. Like, I made the time to watch it. It's just a really enjoyable show. It's got a really great cast. Mark Maron is one of the main characters. We talked about him on the show.
Yeah, I love the podcast, but I've never watched the show.
He actually, this is one of his main, first main acting gigs. He also had Maron, like his own TV show prior to this. But I think going into this, especially season to season, you could see as he's been acting more, he's been getting better and better. Like this third season was probably my favorite season of acting from him. Like, he really stepped it up. Like, he's really been...
From what he said through the podcast that I've listened to, he said he's trying to be more himself and more coming in.
He looks very comfortable on screen. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, so, like, and which is fine, but, like, that's what I mean. So if you're a fan of the podcast or you're a fan of him, I think he comes off very well in this show. And, like,
nice.
I mean, the rest of the women cast on the show are mostly unknowns, at least to me.
Okay.
But it's such a huge cast of characters. Like, it's similar, and I think actually one of the directors that's involved with those other shows about women, like the one from The Orange is the New Black, I think is also involved in this show.
Okay.
So again, it's a huge cast of women characters, but they're doing such a good job of getting to know all the women in the show. By this third season, you know all of them. They all have different personalities. They're all bringing a lot to their characters. They're just a really fun group to kind of follow. And it's also about wrestling. Mm-hmm. So I'm a fan of wrestling. Like, this is about the start of women wrestling, and how it used to be televised, how, you know, they actually had to go around and, like, you know, do small shows at first. And at this point in the series, they've got a little bit of fame and they've found like a home for themselves, and they're playing on a network, but they're still working things out. They're trying to figure out what this thing is because it's new. And then Mark Maron was a failed director who ended up falling into this and falling in love with one of the lead women in this wrestling thing, and he's been having this on again, off again, like, relationship with her, whereas like she's interested in him and he's interested in her, but they've never actually made that connection, like taken that step. And then this season you kind of finally get a little bit of that payoff a little bit, right? And it goes other places.
He's gonna leave the podcast again. He's gonna, you know, start just doing acting.
Yeah, it's just really great. So I think that if you guys have never watched the show, I think it should be talked about more, and I think it's something that it's really worth your time. It's a really good, and this third season was probably the best season of the show yet, I think. So, like, again, it's one of those shows that's been getting better and better season to season.
Yeah.
And it's mostly a drama, but I really enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. So,
Niko, not bad. That was your number.
That's my number 2.
All right, cool. So now am I going to my number 1?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to stick with a show that I've been watching for the last 7 seasons. All right?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you again, and it's going to be probably until this show disappears, is The Blacklist.
I knew it, yeah. I knew that's what you were going to say, yeah.
Yeah, I just found out that where I'm living, that Adrian's mom there, watches it too.
Oh,
she was watching
there you
it
go.
on her, she was catching up on the internet the other day.
Yeah.
So, this one is with James Spader.
Yeah, he's good.
And he's just in what's it called? The Most Wanted, FBI's Most Wanted, and he ends up turning himself into the FBI. But in order to do that, he wants immunity and all that crap that they want when people turn themselves. Especially, he's not stupid about it, right? But he ends up telling one girl that he knows who's the father. He's their father. He knows who's the father, and he's there to protect her. One of the FBI agents. But so he's working now. They build a task force, and he helps catch all of these most wanted terrorists and stuff like that. All these underground sources of everything. All this, but not before he takes what he needs, because he's ultimately number 1 off of that. Like, he's ultimately when they say he's FBI's Most Wanted, ultimately everybody that he's turning in owes him something, or he needs something from them in order to, I think, evade afterwards, get out of jail. And then I don't even think he's gonna I don't even think they'll arrest him in the end if the series ever ends or whatever it ends, right? But yeah, it's been going on since 2013, but every episode he turns somebody in, but not he sets it up so that he takes what he needs before the FBI gets there. Either he'll end up killing the person, or he'll end up taking what he needs.
Yep.
Otherwise, money, whatever it is, or something that he needs to know from something in the next episode that he's going to need to know. It's just a really well put together show. I mean, I don't think it would have been on for 8 seasons now if that wasn't the case.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of guys that they tried to do a spin-off with.
It failed
Ryan
though, right?
Yeah. It was good. It was a good show, but this did better.
Yeah.
And they couldn't keep doing that, and he ended
I
up
heard
going
about
to
that.
another show.
They tried to spin it off, but it was a failed spin-off.
Yeah, and he ended up doing The Resident, not The Resident, New Amsterdam. So he ended up doing the doctor on he ended up being the doctor guy on New Amsterdam.
Okay.
But yeah, it never ended up spinning off, and they ended up killing him off the show.
Right.
But I mean, every season I've watched of this so far is probably every year it's got to be the best. Like it's still getting a 4.
You've consistently really loved the show.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look on the internet, guys. I mean,
91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's high. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's after since 2013, right? So. That's been around for quite a while.
That's
now,
good.
Right?
That's a good track record. Good run.
I can't stop watching it. I just actually, to be honest, I caught up on an episode the other day, which was nice to see because those night shifts you can't catch up on anything.
But is this one of those shows because it's on a network that's like 20-something episodes?
It's not. You gotta actually watch it every week. It's just on television.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Because of that, is it one of those, because it's a network show, is it one of those things where it's like 20-something episodes over the year? Like you know what I mean?
There's quite a few episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. There's quite a few episodes per season. I'm not sure, 10 or 11. Maybe. There's 10. No, it's 10.
Because it's on NBC.
It's 10, but that's the newest one, and I don't know if that was...
Yeah, look, there's 142 episodes, and we're 7 seasons. Yeah, so it's like one of those ones that's like 20 episodes. Yeah, network shows usually are.
They're hour episodes, 44 minutes, 45 minutes.
Network shows, though, but that's what I mean. They have to be 20-something because they fill a whole season of shows on that network.
Yeah, because they're cutting series 3 minutes out of every, so they skip, they miss
It's not
a
like
whole
an
season
HBO
or
where there's
whatever.
like 10 episodes. It's like 20-something. Okay.
But great, well put together. Every year is well put together. I don't know exactly where it's filmed.
I mean, to be around this long, it must be good, right?
Yeah,
so.
you know what, and like I said, it's a thriller. It's just what I'm into, right? And so that's all I have to say. I think guys, if anybody really wants to watch something good, something interesting, it's on every Friday night. It's not. I mean, it's been on Friday night, Thursday, and Friday night schedules the whole time. So it's doing good. Ratings must be high still if that's the case. If it's on a Friday night on television, right? Now they don't put too many shows on. There's certain days of the week that they put them on, right?
Right.
And this is one of those ones I gotta wait for every fucking week. It's not like Netflix where they put the whole series on, like, so.
Okay, my
Nico's
last.
turn. That was my number one, and then the guys, like I said, everybody go out and watch that one. So let's see where Nico's got number one. It's probably something I've never watched too.
No, you watched it. We talked about it on the show this
right.
year.
Cool.
Stranger Things season 3 was my favorite season of the show.
I couldn't even remember. I knew it came out, but I didn't know if it came out at the beginning of this year.
For me, when I was reviewing a lot of the stuff that I rewatched this year, I was looking for almost pitch perfect seasons where I'm like, you know what, I enjoyed the whole thing. I steered away from things I had some issues with. A lot of the shows that were in my honorable mentions were shows that just wrapped up this year. Like, there was their final season. Shows that I enjoyed that, I mostly like the endings for. But if I was comparing it overall to, like, the show's history, was it their best season? No. But this was one of those things where, the third season in, was my favorite season yet of Stranger Things. It was such a perfect story, I thought. I liked all the shit with Hopper. I like how that ended. It left it all up in the air whether or not he survived. I like how the whole Russia versus America and the whole mall 80s fucking aspect of it. I love that. Like, we talked about it very lovingly when it first came out. I just really dug the show. And
frequently
I've always been a big fan of the show, but I think that with this third season, it really solidified the fact that, like, you know, you could still kind of throw a curveball and throw such an interesting concept a few seasons into something to make it like the best one yet, right?
Yeah.
So
There's always
for me, because coming off the second season, I thought the second season of Stranger Things was weaker than the first. So they came back much when coming back with this third season, it made me very happy because I thought they took a step back with the second season. I wasn't a huge fan of the second season, just because you know they had like a lot going on. But in this third season, they kind of knew where all the characters were and their storylines and where they were going. Where in the second season, it seemed like they didn't expect the first season to be that big of a hit.
Yeah.
And when it was, it seemed like they didn't really know the direction to go in. At least that's how I felt watching the second season. But then in this third season, everything was just worked out perfectly for all the characters. Steve, the fucking guy at the ice cream shop, I love that guy. Like, I used to hate that guy. I love that fucking guy now, that character. The little black girl, the sister of the other character in that, how she became part of the group all of a sudden, how like all of them came together at the end in that mall, and it was like Russia versus America during that time when everyone didn't really trust the Russians. It's just hilarious, and it felt like a cheesy '80s fucking movie. You know what I mean? So like it was just great. So for me, it was probably the thing I was most looking forward to, like watching when it first came out this year, and it paid off, right, big time for me. So nice. Stranger Things season 3 was probably my favorite thing I watched this year in TV. Yeah.
Nice, cool, man. That's really our 5 there. But I have a few.
Nothing the same. There, that was interesting, and I like you.
I told you it wasn't going to be the same. I had a feeling because ultimately, some of the shows I've told you to watch, you've never watched, right?
Quickly fire through your honorable mentions there, though, because I got a shitload of them.
I got a few.
Don't comment long on all of them.
No, I'm not going to comment on any of them. I'm going to
comment.
Okay, there's 2 that actually came out this year on Global that I actually liked. I thought they were pretty good. Prodigal Son just recently started on I'm pretty sure it's Global if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And
Good Doctor.
Another one. Good Doctor didn't come out this year. It's a repeated season.
Okay.
It's a repeated series, right?
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Good Doctor is one, but Evil is another one that came out. That's another possession show, demon possession show. I don't know how long it's gonna last. It's pretty good to watch. I wanted to put this one. This one was probably gonna make my list, was the Godfather of Harlem, but I haven't finished watching the whole season, the first season yet.
Leslie's favorite show, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to get too much into detail with that in case I get called out on it by her. So I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say, Godfather of Harlem has been awesome so far up to now. It's all about politics. It's basically what's going on in the U.S. again right now, but it's all based on real characters. Malcolm X in that one at this time, right? Like, so it's just they even have Muhammad Ali in that one. Not the real Muhammad Ali, obviously, but they have somebody acting as him as a young Muhammad Ali growing up in that area in Harlem, right? So before he changed his name. Mindhunter was good. The beginning of the year came out. Remember that season there? Discovery. I liked it. Star Trek Discovery was.
But you had some issues with it.
But I had issues. I still don't know where it's going. I don't know what's going. They don't even know what's going on. I'm still waiting to see what the hell's going on with that whole Star Trek series.
I might watch Kirk when it comes out.
It's supposed to. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. It's pissing me off. Everything's pissing me off. They want to make it right. That's the problem.
I think I might join you on watching that and talking about it on the show when it comes out, because I like Captain Kirk, not Kirk, Picard. I'm fucking calling it Kirk. Picard is what I'm talking about. I'm really looking forward to that. I like that captain. I probably watched the most Star Trek Next Generation out of all the Star Treks. So I might join you on watching that, because that's been really hyped up. Also, apparently the Orville is excellent.
Orville's hilarious. Man. I forgot all about, but I don't think it was there. I don't think there was a season this year. I'm not sure. Was there in the beginning of the year? Right.
There was. Apparently,
I didn't know it was that good. I didn't know it was that good, and then I started watching it. And it's fucking.
I don't really
hilarious.
like Seth MacFarlane that much, but I've heard this is
the
good.
whole. It's just based. It's like a comedy version of a funnier version of kind of like its own. It's like its
Star
own
Trek
Star
Next
Trek.
Generation. No, that's what it is.
But
it's his take on it.
It's got nothing to do with it does, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? And it's awesome.
Yeah, go on.
But,
sorry.
There was a bunch. There's End of the Fucking World.
Yeah, you liked that.
I liked it really. I liked it really good. I didn't want to put it on a list and stuff. you know, there's in a few of the cartoon ones like Big Mouth and F is for Family. Those season 3s came out this year that I watched. Between Two Ferns.
That was good.
All right.
That was a movie though.
No, but they have it.
The web show.
Yeah, the web show too. That I was like, but
That's funny.
they also had a movie too. Of it.
I know. I watched it.
I seen the movie as well, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, right? But
the web show was
the one that he does too. Also, I think it's Clown. What the fuck is it?
Baskets.
Baskets. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. I was thinking of the name, trying to think of it all day today, dude.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
I've never watched it, but I've heard
good things. I didn't realize to just type it into my phone, but
He's a rodeo.
So and I always like Walking Dead and the Fear of the Walking Dead. I always watch those seasons still. Like you, Niko doesn't like them anymore because
I'm off.
But
that.
That's another thing I want to tell you. That Prodigal Son, one of them, Evil or Prodigal Son, I can't remember. One of them that I watch here could be Castle Rock too, or it's J.J. Abrams does the directing.
I'm not a huge fan of this. I like it, but it's not enough for it's not enough for me to check it out. But,
no.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So So I mean, really, other than that, there was nothing too crazy. And don't forget. And I know Niko's gonna kind of forget. He probably forgot that he watched this, but Afterlife was another one that we watched.
On my fucking honorable mentions, you dick. It almost made it into my top 5. Very unexpected and very good.
I forgot that I know that's something we both watched, right? Yes. And I was like, fuck.
The Ricky Gervais Show, 6 episodes, guys. It's on Netflix. It's
2020, new
really good. It's the best thing that Ricky Gervais has done in a long time. So
a lot of these shows that I'm saying too are all coming out with new ones.
So but that was on my honorable mentions. The last season of Silicon Valley, which just ended about 2 weeks ago, which is a very niche comedy show. Like it may not be for everybody, but I absolutely loved it. It's about tech and stuff like that, but it was a very funny fucking show. It's by Mike Judge, creator of Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool, cool.
It's a good guy who's involved in it. Power season 6, ridiculous fucking show. It's very enjoyable, bro. It's my guilty pleasure though. It's like one of these shows where you're like, this is fucking ridiculous, but it's entertaining. This is the mid-season finale right now that just Living with Yourself, just because of Paul Rudd. It was a fun show, but again, Paul Rudd. And in my honorable mentions, did not make the top 5, not even for consideration. And it's very sad to say the last season of Game of Thrones, just because there was too many issues.
I was waiting for you to say something about it.
No, any other season, but this season had a lot of issues. Even though I don't think I hated it as much as everybody else did. We talked about it here on the show. I didn't I wasn't livid about the ending, but I didn't deserve it. There's too many issues with it to give it a top 5 rating for this year. But yeah, that does it for me. That's my.
I thought you'd become more picky over the years too, maybe, just because you've been able to judge and not judge, but and kind of critique movies a little bit better and stuff, since you've been doing a lot of it, through the trade talk and through the movie, through the comic and wine comic time, right? So I mean.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't put it in my top 5.
Yeah, no, I noticed.
I know some of the movies were a cop-out where I'm like, come on, guys, Breaking Bad, like, I have to put it in. But there was a lot of enjoyment behind those things, and I did feel those were good. Just, again, maybe deserving the top 5, maybe not, but this, not deserving the top 5. As much as I loved Game of Thrones, there's too many issues with the film for me to put it in, with the final season for me to put it in my top 5. So I just wanted to mention it because I thought you'd find that surprising because of how big of a game it is.
I really did. I found that really
If I'm being honest, no. Maybe in the top 10. But
when it shows these lists of shows for 2019 and you look it up and you look for shows, it shows Game of Thrones as the top 50. It shows it as the 50th one, really. It shows it as the first one that comes up. It doesn't show it as the first one anymore. I
mean, not only did my list though show you that I didn't watch too many of the new hot shows this thing, but I like it a lot because it shows a lot of shows that maybe people don't talk about enough about. Yeah. And there's so much fucking good stuff out there. So that's why I like that we gave totally 2 different diverse lists here, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much both of our stuff was
different.
Yeah, even the movie, even the television up to about that one. I mean, pretty much they were all different.
That's cool, man. And we didn't talk about this prior too, so that's really cool. Okay, so since we're running long here, let's get right into music, if you don't mind. Let's wrap up on a high note here with music of the year.
Another one that was so fucking hard to put them in order.
Okay, so I'll start off with this one.
You're gonna go in order. Or you're gonna go
in order. Yeah, I did in order. So at number 5 for me. I got Freddie Gibbs and Madlib's Bandana album. Now, I've liked Freddie Gibbs as a rapper. I'm a fan of his music. Even prior to this, I've not always been up on all of his music or current on it, but this was apparently a highly anticipated album because he was doing yet another project with Madlib's, the producer, and it was a very well produced album. And not only that, there were several songs on it that I really fucking enjoyed when it came out, and it felt underground and it felt kind of fresh and of the times as well. It had some, you know, decent features on it. I really thought it was a really good solid album. You know, I don't think it reached, in terms of my enjoyment, anywhere close to the other 4 things on this album, but looking at everything that I listened to this year, I felt it did deserve a spot, so I had to put it right in at number 5. There's a couple of things in my honorable mentions that have recently come out that I think could have maybe taken the 5th spot, but since I haven't had that much time to listen to the albums, I didn't feel it was right to put it in there as of yet. I'll even mention it right now. One of them was WWCD, the Griselda album. I think I could have easily made it into my top 5 and been number 5, but since it's only been out for like 2 weeks, I didn't want to give it over Bandana, because Bandana I had a lot more time to listen to and enjoy over that album. So yeah, that is one of my honorable mentions. I will get into it maybe more later, but number 5 is Bandana by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib's. Yeah.
No, that was a good album to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, I remember you pushed me onto it, and I started to really like it afterwards, right?
Yeah, and your buddy, he kind of said he really enjoyed it as well. Yeah, he mentioned it to you.
He mentioned it to me, and then I don't remember how we did that. We mentioned it to each other, and we were talking about it, and then he checked it out and he listened to the episode, and yeah, he really likes the album. He was the one that was telling me that it was crazy.
Right.
Then you told me, and I said, okay, I'll check it out. It was a good album.
Yeah, he's a good rapper, man. He's really good. And I'm looking forward to more from him. Right? Like this was.
There's another one. This is another thing that was hard too, is that there was so much music out there this year, like just singles dropping left and right. Everything like that, so for me it was hard to figure it out.
For me, it was whatever I ended up like, because of the way music is nowadays. A lot of stuff you like listen to for a week or two, and then you move on. The stuff that's mostly on my list now kind of gave me those lasting impressions, whether or not it's something I still listen to right to this day, or it's something that when it came out it made such an interesting impact on me. A lot of them for being some newer artists to me. That they deserve a spot on my list. Like, looking at my list of music that we're going to talk about today compared to previous years that I've listened to rap music, and they're all rap albums, by the way, I'll say that right off the bat, such a diverse type of different rappers on my list. Like, was pretty proud of myself, because I looked at the list, I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, this is not like the Niko of old. Like, these aren't all gangster rappers. You know what I mean? Like, it was very interesting.
Funny. It is
yeah,
funny.
it's funny how the things I'm gravitating towards more so nowadays as I'm getting older, and there's only certain people I kind of look out for in music, and luckily sometimes new things come across my spectrum as well, right? So yeah. Anyways, go on.
So like I said, I had a lot of music to choose from. We had a lot. I mean, I've listened to quite a few things.
Right.
I've been downloading left and right music here and there, and you know what? I'm just gonna throw some music out there. I'm gonna probably give you a top 3, if anything, because or maybe I can give you a top 5. I got a whole
top
shit.
3. Come on.
No. But I mean, I don't know how much in order I want to put these guys.
Sure. Yeah. So
I haven't really had so much in order, like in the sense that, because I wanted to check one out too before I went off on it too, because I wasn't sure. I think it came out at the beginning of this year. And I wasn't 100% sure, and I had just listened to it. I heard a song from it today on the way here. That's why I was wondering. So it was that 2 Chainz album, Rap or Go to
It is this year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
right? Okay,
yeah.
So Rap or Go to the League.
That almost made my list. Yeah, that's a pretty solid album.
I always think everything from 2 Chainz is pretty entertaining.
I like 2 Chainz, yeah.
Right, so I like to keep that as a number. I would say number 5 on my list of things to.
That's a good spot for it, I think. Yeah,
because you know what, he's put out a lot of stuff that probably before would have probably made it a lot higher up on my
I was about
list.
to say, this wasn't in his whole discography. This isn't one of his strongest albums, but it's a good, solid album. Yeah,
but punch for punch,
yeah,
it goes really good, and it's
and what's his face was the one that oversaw the project, LeBron James.
Yeah, it was weird. And so it was so weird because it was like a basketball sort of theme. Even the picture on the artwork on the picture.
He was the A&R on this. Yeah, like he helped out in the putting together of this album. Yeah,
it was really good, and so that one I'll leave that one as a number 5.
I think that's good. I'm glad you included that because it just didn't make mine. So.
I had forgot all about it, and then I was listening to it.
It came out early 2019. It just is like I think it came out in January or something. Like I think you just made the cut on that one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's because I started playing music that I downloaded, on my apps that I downloaded this year that I had from this year. Sorry, music that's 2019.
Yeah.
So it allows me to do that. Yeah. So I started playing stuff, and it kind of caught my attention, right? So I was like.
Okay, so my number 4 on the list is an album that came out again early of the year. It came out in January or February of 2019, and I loved the album when it came out. And I actually ended up forgetting about the fucking album. When I was looking up albums that came out this year, rap albums that I wanted to include in this list, I came across it, and I've been fucking listening to it nonstop since I came across it again because I had forgotten about it and I didn't have it on my phone any longer. And I'm really disappointed that I did that, and don't take that as an indication of how good the album was, because it's a really fucking solid and debut album as well, at least on a major record label, and that's Boogie's Everything's for Sale. What a fucking great, bro! It's a great, solid debut fucking album, and also. Again, at the tail end of the year, Griselda, who signed there as well. I forgot that fucking Shady also signed this Boogie guy. What an interesting year of music for them to sign these fucking... Like, these are solid artists that they have on there again now. I will say that thing about Shady and Aftermath and all that. They've always looked for talented artists over the hottest artists. These guys are really good fucking... Like Boogie, that was a great fucking album when it came out. Like, obviously you had the Rainy Days song with Eminem, which was the big single that came out of that. But... if you actually listen to the rest of the album, it's really solid. And he's a West Coast guy, and I like West Coast rap. And again, he had something to say. Like this kid, a young kid, had a lot to say. And if you look back, he actually had a couple of mixtapes, which I also listened to, that came out prior to his debut with Shady. And I've seen some of his freestyles on the radio when he came through, like Funk Flex or one of those shows. He's really fucking talented, this guy. So I'm actually really looking forward to his next project that he comes out with whenever that happens. But solid debut, man. Good beats, good production on that album. Not really a guy that was, heavy on the features, which I'm totally fine with. Like I said, he had Eminem. Fuck, he got a good cosign right there on the album right there, right? That was a solid song. So, Boogie, Everything's for Sale. Definitely check it out, guys, if you missed out on that.
It was early 2000. It was a great album.
Yeah.
It was a great album. It was, I don't know if it made I can't even remember. I don't think but I remember listening to it with, So, so here I got a number. What am I going for? 4. I lost. I'm losing count, man. Because I don't really have them in order. I have them listed down here. I'm just doing it from my head because it kind of works that way too, right? The Meek Mills, I thought was a great album.
Fuck, you fucker. I didn't put it online either. Again, I'm so glad that you're saying it because, again, they just
forget about it.
No. It was on my honorable mentions, but again, that and rap, the 2 Chainz were like 6 and 7. You know what I mean? Like I was probably put Meek Mills just didn't make the cut. No, I'm glad
because you're probably gonna have that one that I didn't have. I guarantee
that you may have forgotten. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of.
I'm glad you mentioned it. No, that's good. Meek, it was a solid fucking album.
It was. Yeah, it was a great album. It was good in the beginning of the year, and he's got a lot of good beats. Production wise, I don't know who was doing the production on that, but it was just well put together. You can listen from beginning to end, something that you don't really get to do for much albums anymore. So
I'm almost kicking myself right now because I'm like, you know what? I should have put that on my top 5. I really like that because I'm just thinking of all the amazing samples he had on that fucking album. That was great.
Well,
man.
you got to remember too. I get to listen to a lot more music in the car, right? Too. That's another thing that you don't get to. Right?
It was on my honorable mentions, but I almost think that I should have found a spot for it. It was a really good album. It was a really good album. Yeah.
Well, I mean, remember, we also keep in touch throughout the year about what songs we're going to talk about. I mean, what
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Talked about or what albums are coming out, right?
Yeah.
You know that, right? So we tend to listen to the same things. So yeah, I mean, it isn't going to be too far fetched for us to say different things.
Yeah. Well, if your 5 that you're going to mention are going to be my honorable mentions, I'm totally fine with that. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like that because I'm glad that they're being brought up in the top 5, right? So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was mine.
So my number 3. Huge shocker to me. I never expected this artist to be on my top 5, nor did I ever I didn't think the album would have hit me the way it did. But it's Tyler the Creator, Igor.
Yeah,
what a fucking album, bro. I mean, even I have a hard time even calling it a fucking rap album because it's not really
that would have probably been my next one. It grew on me so much, man.
It hit right at the right spot. I think it was at the start of the summer. It just had such a vibe to it, the beats in it, the production, this type of music that he was doing, something original that he totally did all on his own. He changed his whole image. He went fucking face to face with Khaled on his album debut and fucking killed him. And he all did it on his own. He did all the production on it. He did all the fucking all the music. Obviously, the everything on there is all him. It's just him. And such a fresh, different type of fucking sounding album. It just hit right at the perfect time, and it's so different from anything that he's even done.
Yeah, it's true.
So I was so inspired by that at the time. I was like, wow, good for you. I was and I was so happy that he beat Khaled that week when it debuted, and he did it all on his own, and he really just showed people you can be an independent and have success and do your thing and do something that people think is weird or maybe they may not understand. But you did it, man. You know what I mean? That he's an original. This kid, I really respect him after this fucking move that he did with this album. I never really got him. I always thought he was okay, but I never really understood what people liked about him. But this album, just amazing. It really impressed me, this Igor album. Yeah, so, yeah, that's my number 3.
That's your number 3,
yeah?
Right? That's all right. That's not so bad because I think that was coming up for me too because I thought that was a great album, and you brought me onto that one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was there, on my list of things to think of that came pop because I literally went through what popped in my head. That's why if you notice where I wrote that. It was because I threw it in there just recently because I heard it on the way down here, to be honest with you, and I remembered it, right? So. But yeah, no, I think the Tyler Creator we probably would have put it at the same spot, bro.
Cool.
I honestly think that because
so that's also your number 3, you think? Yeah.
It was a good album. I didn't like it in the beginning, and I told you. I said, but
I remember that.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember how I told you it works with me?
You're
but
it's
I need
weird.
To listen.
You're it's weird, bro. I remember you said you're I don't get it.
I need to listen. I need to get it. Sometimes, okay, a lot of the music nowadays, everything's changing, right? So
I told you though, I'm stick with it, bro. I'm stick with it. Yeah.
Lyrics and beats don't always sound right together, but then they tend to go together. Once you listen to them a few times, they tend to click. That rhythm tends to click in your head, and it's there, bang. So you get them both. I mean, I always think that a good beat is gonna make for a great song. Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless of the lyrics, honestly, you're gonna say whatever you want in a song as long as the beat's good. But I mean, he that's what I thought. He was just saying whatever he wanted. But then when he sat down and you actually listened to what he was saying, everything was making sense.
Yeah.
And it was really creative. It was, and maybe that's why he is called Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that but Eminem said what he said about him, but. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I can't say he didn't. It's not like Eminem came out with an album this year, so it's not like he could talk.
Right.
He came out with just a single, so
right.
I mean, it's not like he can talk.
Yeah.
This year, at least, right?
No.
So
yeah, it was a great album.
I
big surprise.
Was there too,
big surprise for me.
3, I honestly, these last 2 are gonna be the hardest ones. Now I'm gonna. you're gonna go on with your last two, and you go as well. I'm not right. I'm not. You don't know what's mine. They're just scattered everywhere. You see my brain, it works.
Back to me then, if that's your number 3.
Go.
And this,
because I think it was a great.
This was almost my number 1. I wanted to give it to number 1. Let's just say that's how good this number 2 is, but. The number 1 was undeniable not to give it to that person as number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And number 2 then is YBN Corday, The Lost Boy.
I had a feeling that was going to be your number 2.
Yeah.
Great album too as well.
Again, great debut album. New rapper to me. I knew nothing about this guy going into this album. I just saw someone maybe talking about it online saying it was a good album. So I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. What impressed me the most about this album, again, good features on it, good production, good beats, is the fact that this kid is a young kid, early 20s, and he had something to say. Like this guy had something to fucking say. The tracks on that album were so thoughtful and insightful for a kid his age to put out a project on this level and be rapping as good as he was. And keeping up on his own with some of these great rappers that he had on the album, it blew me away, bro. Like, I was very impressed at how he had his life together in his mind. Like, he had a bunch of shit happen to him, and he was able to analyze it all and put it into this fucking debut album and be like, you know, this is me. Like, this is the things I've learned, and this is how far I've come, and this is who I am, and this is what I've fucking learned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, I was so impressed by the depth of somebody. Like, there's people that go through their whole careers that that will never say the shit that this kid said on this album. You know what I mean? Like, it's so impressive, like, to me, like, especially, and like, he's part of a group of other rappers, those YBN guys that I don't think convey that, all of them, and that's why, like, he kind of stood out from the pack to me, like, this kid. And
there's always one in the group, right?
Yeah, I just very impressed, man. Like, he's the oldest. I think he is, right? Is he?
I'm not sure, but there's always one in the group.
Oh yes.
Be, you know, there was back in the day. It was Wu-Tang. They always had that one that stood out more than the rest when it came to rapping, when it came to speaking.
I just like, who the fuck is this kid? When I heard the album, I was just like, it clicked with me right away from the first fucking intro track. Like, he did, like, it just, like, and then I was like, okay, it can't get any better than this. But then it did. Like, the whole album was pretty fucking solid, and they were all similar type songs. Like, he had a couple of bangers on there, sure, which is fine. But most of them were so insightful, man. Like, and I learned something about him, like, after listening to it, and about life and about myself almost. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, it was coming of age in an album. Like, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like, he took his trials and tribulations and made beautiful music out of it. You know what I mean? And that's what you're supposed to do as an artist.
It was great. It was like, I didn't believe I was gonna like it until once again you put it on.
Yeah.
You put me onto these. I always figured they're young kids.
Do you remember what I said, though? I said to you, I was like...
You gotta give me some time to listen to it.
No, not just that. I said, I haven't felt this way about an album since the Joyner album.
Yeah, and that, and
like, discovering that Joyner album, I was like, holy fuck. Like, who... And that was the album of last year. This was that album... If he dropped his album this year...
Yeah.
I probably would have said the same thing again, because I love Joyner that much.
The only problem is that he came out in a busy time of the year.
Right.
I think it was the first quarter, right?
Who, YBN?
Yeah.
No, I think the second. Yeah.
But it still was a busy time.
Yes.
Right? Where you kind of get brushed under the carpet.
That's what I mean. Like, you would have got lost in the.
Well, it's not like bangers. You're not gonna get bangers on it, right?
No.
So it was crazy that it didn't happen, right? But
great album though, guys. The Lost Boy. Honestly,
I maybe would have picked it too as one of mine, but I had a feeling you were gonna pick it, so I wanted to kind of keep them a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I'm also putting it to the account that music that sounded good in the car.
Sure.
As opposed
which
to,
I don't have. Yeah.
As opposed to music I have to listen to and actually be like I could have picked it between just lyrics, or I could have picked it for just
Yours is encompassing everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to, right? Like, so that's why.
So what's your number two?
If you want to hear a number two, is it my number two now?
Yeah.
So my number two, I would have said, because I have a feeling we got the same ones, so I'm gonna leave that one for you for number one,
all right?
But I'm gonna throw this one out there, and I liked it, and you know what? I haven't had a chance to hear all the other, whatever, music that I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of other music, right? Like consistent enough yet because they just released. They were just released at the end of the year here, so I haven't had a really good chance of listening to it. But you know what? To be honest with you, and you guys people are gonna laugh, and I really like that Yellow Wolf, the Ghetto Cowboy.
Really?
Yeah, I put it up there, man. Really up there. I like the beats.
I won't laugh at you. I'll disagree with you, but yeah, that's fair.
You can't, but I've listened to it enough where I actually like, lyrically, I like what he's saying too. Not just the beats. Not just, I love the beats. Anything that comes from Yellow Wolf.
The beats are all top notch. Yeah.
But the way he's mixing in country and hip hop all in one, it's really good. From beginning to end, I don't have a problem with anything. I don't think he has any big name, any guys on there right now because he's still starting his own little thing after shit. This is after Shady Records and all that stuff. And you know, even though I'm a diehard Shady fan, I still have a love for Yellow Wolf. Yeah, man. I still think he's got good music.
I will say though, what I'll give him credit for is that he's still been making an effort to be consistent even after getting shelved after Shady. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like
he still has money and he's actually using it the right way.
No, but that's what I mean. At least he still has a passion to make music.
Oh, that's what I mean. There's no doubt about it.
And unlike a lot of the other people that felt that their careers fell flat after the whole Shady business, he's been consistent.
Exactly.
So I'll give him that. You're right.
He didn't
that
say
is
anything
good.
bad about that Shady part in this album. He didn't have nothing bad to say. It was just a learning curve in his career. You know, unfortunately, it didn't work out. But he's gone back to his roots and where he's come from, and kind of like the style that he was. I think that it was a great album. Like I said, I'm not necessarily. I'm putting these in order from what I like this year, not necessarily meaning the artists I like top notch. Right.
The project itself.
I mean, there's other albums that I did like too that I haven't had enough chance to listen to, like you said, the Griselda album, like you mentioned. There was a few of them. All those three guys from there, Benny the Butcher. I haven't got to listen to all of those guys yet, so those guys aren't going to be. But I really enjoyed that album because I listened to it for quite a long time too, just to get through that whole album, and it was great. I mean, he's made some great projects. If you've ever had a chance to listen to them, right? I mean, Beef Hotel, all that shit. So okay, that was my number two.
So my number one, and I'm sure you may agree here, because it's pretty undeniable that this is the baby's year.
Yeah, all the way, man.
He pulled the fucking DMX, bro. He released two super fucking smashed albums.
That's what I said.
Not on the same level, obviously, in terms of sales as at DMX, because that was a different time in music and with record labels.
This is totally more money.
Yeah, but on the same level,
they're just tossing it at him.
Yeah, I mean, with all his touring, I mean, recently he was just here in Toronto with Drake. Like, this has been the baby's year. It's undeniable.
Drake.
To get him in the country.
Drake to get him in the country.
So guys, we're talking about the first one, which was the better out of the two, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Baby on Baby, and then followed up by Kirk towards the end of the year. Another solid album, Kirk, too. Though both good.
That's why I said, would you
switch it up?
I didn't want to split them, right? That's why.
I put them both together.
It's good that you did number one and you got to bring it out. I wanted to hear it because I knew that's what I was going to ruin.
And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah,
right?
And that's going to be my number one. It is. It's not. We're not talking about just singles and stuff like that. We're talking about
presence.
Everything.
He was. This was his year.
His year of entertaining. Yeah. This was his Lil Wayne year. You know what I mean? Like this was his breakthrough.
Yes. He's a superstar.
He is.
He's a superstar.
Everywhere he goes now.
Features, everything he did this year.
He does,
man.
He's ruined it for every other artist out there.
He fucking dominated the BET award freestyle, whatever the fucking was. Like he
does stuff like he was randomly in a store the other day, and he busted out like a little concert for them, man.
His videos, he created a fucking bop challenge. You're talking about a guy who missed his show a couple weeks back. I don't know if you heard this. His plane, he didn't make his plane to make a show, and he got on his fucking cell phone and FaceTime a performance to everybody who was at the show because he was gonna make it at the fucking show. Like that's a solid fucking move.
That's
man.
dedication, bro. That's somebody who wants to make some money and loves what he does.
That's what I mean. Like all these other fucking people, like that have more money than they should, and they don't give a shit about the fans. I don't know. Actually.
I don't even know, man. That's the one thing.
Def Jam, I think it's Def Jam. Yeah.
Because honestly, he is just blowing up everywhere, man. You can't open your Instagram. You can't open anything, any sort of hip hop feed without him being in it. It's not even a joke. It's hilarious, man.
I think it's Def Jam.
And he is just funny. He's all around funny. He's got the fakest teeth in the world. Like this is what I try to explain to somebody, and I believe it or not, like he had to get his teeth done.
Oh, Interscope actually, Interscope and Universal, they have a joint fucking deal on.
Interscope owns everybody, man. That's don't fuck around with Jimmy, man.
Yeah, in February of 2019.
I would love to hear
a
fucking story about Jimmy one day, like a real story.
So yeah, guys, I mean it's really undeniable that it was the baby's year. Like like I said, like my favorite,
he's probably artist of the year.
This YBN album, as amazing as it was for me, and like, but
all of a sudden the baby came out, and Niko going nuts. And you know what we hate? Guess what we hate?
That Peter put us on.
yeah, Peter. Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. You know what? You're the best.
Yeah.
But you know what? Thank you, man, for putting us on to this guy because obviously. He
even if he didn't though,
he's
there was no way. No, but there's no way we would have not known of him at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we would have eventually, but like at the time when we started listening to the album, it was just before Baby and Baby came out.
Yeah, he had more time.
He had other music already out there.
His hands to watch.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why the intro music to today's episode, we had to put Suge on because we're like, this was his year, guys.
Yeah, we knew it was. We knew that that's what we were going to come down to. I think both of us slowly in our head. But we didn't say anything,
we gushed about him so many times on this show.
But I mean, I think they were comparing him to the. What were they saying, man? They were comparing him to something of the next generation.
Tupac.
Was it?
Yeah,
Tupac?
they said he's like the Tupac in terms of like his influence
to people and entertainment wise,
that's
and
right.
he's not stupid by far. He's not. He's actually rapping with some common sense and not saying that nobody raps with common sense. Okay.
I'm very interested to see where he goes from here, though. Honestly,
he's gone very mainstream, right?
Yeah.
Which is another big thing. He's underground mainstream, what they call it, I think. No? Isn't that what they kind of call that? Sort of underground mainstream.
Just because of his mentality.
He's gotten so big, so quick. He blew up.
And not only that, this guy is having the time of his fucking life.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell. Like, and that's what's refreshing about it.
He loves life.
He's a straight-up gangster dude, but at the same time, he's having such a great time. But that's what I mean. You could, you can tell though, like, and it shows, and it makes a big difference to me.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes a big difference that this guy's out there
every
loving
hour.
life. Yeah.
He's on Instagram. Posting something about loving life, man. It's like,
and he loves his fans. I
hope he stays around for a while. Like, I hope this rap game that he doesn't get caught up into all this fucking hype. Like, all these young rappers are dying lately too, man. We don't want none of this shit. Then we start losing people like this, and I mean, look, what is he? Only
I don't know how old he is.
He was born, it didn't say. Oh, usually it says right there. No, sorry, man. 1991, man. December 21st. Holy fuck, hey, it's his birthday. And then I got a couple days.
So he's 28.
Yeah, it's his birthday in a couple days. I wonder how he's gonna be celebrating his birthday. But yeah, if he doesn't win Album of the Year, honestly.
So to Baby, congratulations.
Congratulations, also known as Baby Jesus.
Yeah. on a successful fucking year, and all all the best to you in the years to come.
Yeah,
and honestly,
man.
just
that doesn't mean a lot from us, but it's still something, man. Trust me, it's.
I felt like saying it though. I was like, because I'm championing this guy as much as the next person.
Oh
that
yeah,
likes
man.
Him, right?
And I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the top of a lot of people's list this year, just because.
Bro, I can't wait to that Drake the Baby song, bro. These two linked up for the first time the other day. It seems like when he came to Toronto. Like,
did they make a song?
No, there's been no song with them yet. They must have made a song like when they were here or there's talks now at least for a song.
I can't believe he got him into the country. How did he get him into the country? Or was he just playing that off? He must have only been playing that.
Yeah.
Well, if he's got a record, dude, he can't get into the country.
Right.
If he's got an actual record, right? I mean, he won't be able to. That's why they had so many problems with those rappers. Remember back in the day?
They were very strict about that.
You know, even with football and stuff like that.
But anyways,
yeah, man, those are our picks.
Those are our picks for the year, guys. This is our year-end
wins.
Media review for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to another exciting year to come, hopefully, of this podcast and for us talking about more of all this type of bullshit. And we'll see what happens.
Better things, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping and looking forward to, you know? Yeah. So
all right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time in the new year now.
Have a great one.
Yeah.